What's up, everybody? I am Brandon Jones, and this is Kyle Bossman.
Hey, everybody.
We are Easy Allies. We never did an audio test. I'm assuming everything's okay. Let us know if everything's all synced up and ready to go. Because we are ready to go. We got a look at that stack. Look at this thick stack of comments that we have. For everybody just kind of like tuning in on Twitch, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Kyle, for joining me on this nice afternoon. So the sun is out, the picking up the trash, if you can't hear that. And we are here to sunset, to send off the wonderful community comments show. Let me just brief you on what this is going to be. Me sitting and talking for like 2 hours. Brace yourself with Kyle as color commentary. We thankfully got the coffee machine plugged in, so if you need more than that,
oh, nice.
You can you can set that up.
Great.
Community comments was an idea. You know, when we first created Easy Allies, we tried to think about value. You know, we kind of looked at each other and we're like, well, we don't think we're all that great, but apparently
what are we worth?
We have some value here that people want. So, like, what's something that we can, dear user X, thank you. First time watching community comments. Well, it's the last one, so there's no time like the present. And I was thinking, well, I do voiceover. How can I give that to our fans? And so I tried to do that through fan mail. If you've ever gotten fan mail from me on Patreon, I record a little something. And I was like, oh, I could have people write, comments, and then we would put them together in a video. With the full breadth of all the other stuff we were doing Easy Allies, that proved too much to produce every month. And so we got behind, and it got to a point where it was out of control. And so it's like, we have to change what community comments is. And so community comments is now evolving into the community showcase. And we actually have a couple comments in here of people that are concerned over not possibly contributing in community comments anymore because it might not be comment focused. We're not necessarily sure what kind of focus is going to be on the showcase. That's up to our fans, but we definitely want people to comment. Like, I'm expecting that to be more than 50% of the time spent doing the showcase, which will be very similar to this. It will be myself going through all the amazing things that are contributed by our community with one of the allies to talk kind of about stuff that people are contributing. And so that will be the showcase moving forward. We'll be putting up that showcase post on Patreon next week, and then the first showcase will be the beginning of the month. I'm thinking is smart. Like the first week of the next month. So, like,
that is a cool idea.
So for this month, an example would be, it's the October community showcase, and I would hate, as much fun as it would be to put that up before Halloween, I would love a good Halloween story or two if they happen. If some people are like, hey, well, here's the party I went to, or here's something I did. So that, at least the beginning of the next month, we can look back at the month prior. It's what I wanted to do with community comments, but it very rarely worked out that way.
Plus, everything we do is at the end of a month, so it's a good idea to...
We have our Q&A at the end and stuff, so it's good to just kind of, like, look back, and we got a resub. Was it No Situation?
Non-situation.
Non-situation, thank you. Thank you for the resub. We're going to be doing lots of readings, so we might be on and off looking at chat, but thank you, everyone, in advance for subbing and resubbing, for our mods for hanging out and wrangling everything. So this is community comments. Kyle, have you ever watched community comments?
Yeah, I used to watch them every month.
Nice.
I definitely fell off, Jones. They got long.
Well, it was, when they were like 40 minutes long before I would hit export. If it's the podcast, I know it's just one take. There might be a couple audio glitches in there, but it's like, I feel comfortable with it. But with comments, like, I'd export it and be like, what am I exporting right now? I have no idea. There's so much text and so many words
and things like that,
it takes a long time to go through it. But I think one of the things, we talked about why we did community comments, but I think my favorite thing has been, for once, the narrative being our community and not us, and not, it's fascinating to talk to all of these guys, and it's fascinating to hear their stories and their experiences from before I knew them to, what they're playing now. But some of these are just completely out of nowhere. Some of them, we're going to kick it off with E3 in June, but Gregory Gillen wrote one, and I don't believe he had ever written a comment before, followed immediately by Bradley Spees, who was like a community comments pro. So it's really neat following like the narratives throughout going month by month, right next to people just spontaneously dropping in comments. So I love the Q&A portions of any shows that we do. I love having this conversation with our allies, and it's nice to know the people that are really committed, and the Jason Sackles of the world who are like, I got something to say, and you're like, all right, Jason, let's do it every month.
Let's do it.
Kicking it off, going back in time. You ready? We're gonna accelerate to 88 miles an hour.
What month are we in?
We are in June 2017.
Okay.
It's June. Okay. It's just starting to get warm. We have not done Easy Living yet. I haven't gone to Comic-Con yet. It's E3, baby.
Wow.
Well,
so
technically,
after E3,
technically this is the beginning of July. Like, this is E3's over. June's over.
Okay.
We are in the middle of the month. Ulf himself definitely has some comments in here. Gregory Gullen, just general E3 love right at the beginning. Hey, allies. This was my first year at E3, as well as my first time watching it with you guys, and it was a blast. The lines were long, but it was a great experience. Which is interesting. Like, a lot of people were still pretty stoked on E3, even though it was like the most populated E3 ever. I had one goal during E3, to find an ally and say hi to them. After 2 days of missed opportunity, I finally spotted Ben and Brad on the Xseed show floor. You guys really made my E3, and it was a wonderful meeting the two of you. I love the love and respect that this community brings, and plan on hopping into Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood for the summer. Curious to get an update on that.
Yeah.
The first few days of early access. That's the other thing, too, are the follow-ups. I mean, you love those from the podcast.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, it's been like a year later, and yeah, checking back in. The first few days of early access were a bit of a mess, but I'm loving the expansion and hope to see you all online. So yeah, good to see some positive vibes coming from the updates to E3. It's going to be interesting to see public sentiment next year. Bradley Spees, E3 was great this year. Congrats on another awesome production. Following press conferences along with the allies in the community is a blast, and really makes it more interesting seeing games that I otherwise might not be interested in. In terms of games I'm playing, June was dedicated mostly to Nier Automata. What a tremendous game, and another example of something that would normally not be on my radar if not for the allies. And most specifically in this case, Ben Moore. Thanks for shining the light on these gems. All that said, after this E3, one thing is clear. Odyssey, game of the show. Game of the year. Game of my lifetime.
Bradley.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are even so many months later. And I think we're all just, even more excited. Some people have it. Some people are playing Odyssey right now. I can't wait till October. Also, the post-E3 news regarding IO and Hitman was such a bright spot. Square, I gave you crap before, and I still don't understand your desire to rapidly get rid of them, but thanks for at least letting them break off on their own. Season 2 is going to be amazing. Yeah, no updates on that.
No updates on that.
That doesn't seem like a PSX thing. That seems like a Gamescom thing or something, or like maybe just randomly we get that trailer.
They went from a lot of funding to very little funding.
Yeah.
It might be a year,
We might see a Kickstarter there.
Oh, yeah, actually, maybe for Season 2.
Alex Castellanos, Community Comments Pro.
Okay.
I thought that Sony would definitely reveal what Sucker Punch has been working on since releasing the Last Light DLC for Infamous Second Son back in 2014, and we still don't know.
Yeah, PSX.
Very good call. Yeah,
Sucker
yeah.
Punch at
Oh, those
PSX.
bets. Oh, I'm scared of those bets. But now, after seeing all that the second half of 2017 still has to offer from Sony and their second and third-party studio partners, I am pleased to not know what they are up to just yet. Now I'm just thinking about playing Uncharted Lost Legacy, Ni no Kuni Revenant Kingdom, Everybody's Golf, Gran Turismo Sport, and even Sonic Forces, Sonic Mania, and Battlefront 2. Let's go! So what's not out yet? Ni no Kuni's not out yet.
Pushed out of the
Turismo
year.
Sport is... Did that happen?
No, the demo came out, but
the demo, that's
game's
right.
not out yet. Yeah.
Sonic Forces is close,
Yeah.
but not yet. And Battlefront 2's, a couple weeks away. Nate Killick. Last June, I subscribed to PlayStation Plus for the express purpose
All caps.
of playing Overwatch. Now that it's a year later and the subscription is about to renew, I should probably get around to getting Overwatch, and most likely playing that all summer. Again, would love a check-in. Shout out to Brandon's Overwatch stream for reminding me what I shelled out cash for in the first place, which, I was not expecting to do
stream,
that.
man.
Yeah. As for my E3 predictions, Sam Lake sadly did not walk out on stage at any point to announce Alan Wake 2. There were some great announcements this year, but that's just bad vibes, E3. Bad vibes. Alexander Ziranov, Community Comments Pro. I live in Russia, and it seems that almost nobody here cares about video games.
Oh, man.
There is no gaming billboards, no gaming news in general media. That's mostly true here. That's very rare to get, to turn on the news and have them be like, video games today. And very few gaming stores, some of which are just a single room in the basement of an apartment building. Usually it makes me sad. It sounds like we need to get Dawn on a plane. Dawn needs to go to Russia
and buy some
needs
games.
to get down to the bottom of the Russian gaming situation.
That's so interesting. I would love to go down to somebody's little basement store and see what kind of games they got.
Usually it makes me sad, but once a year I'm really happy for it, and this happy time is E3. You see, in my time zone, almost every press conference is deep in the night. I need to sleep and to go to work next day, so I watch them almost a day later. My work colleagues or just some random guy in the tram can easily spoil all surprises for me, but because they don't even know that E3 exists, I'm totally safe. Also, it makes avoiding leaks very easy, so when I watch E3 press conferences a day later, I know even less than many gamers who watched it live. Sometimes having a passion you can't share with anyone around really pays off.
You're right. That was a pro comment.
I love that.
It had an arc to it.
But yeah, some people, it's funny, like some people have like a 2-sentence lead. Okay. What I'm doing this month, and some people just like, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
July.
Here's what I'm playing this week.
Here's my beat.
Yeah.
Easy Allies E3 coverage blew me away. like always. 2017 had many notable moments.
Hold on.
Like blew me away.
That was Jones editorializing. Blew me away is not in all caps.
Yeah. But blew me away. Kyle, do you think you've ever done anything in your life that could justifiably blow someone away?
Yeah, I've done some blowing.
You've done blow away worthy work?
Yeah. Hey, Sophie.
Sophie, you blow me away. You're blowing everybody away, so that right there, done. Better than any comment, better than us reading. We 2017 had many notable moments, like Damiani face-palming at Zelda amiibos being in Skyrim, Huber freaking out because The Evil Within is releasing on Friday the 13th.
This is fun.
And all the allies being giddy and happy during the Super Mario Odyssey trailer, which I was there for. I was happy about that. Thank you, Easy A, for being enthusiastic and passionate about video games. I am hyped for the next conference reaction, which was... We didn't do anything for Comic-Con.
Gamescom, I guess.
Gamescom, yeah.
Yeah.
Whit Fesmeyer. I just want to thank y'all for being the jolliest people on the internet. You make our days just a bit happier, and I'm definitely thankful to be a part of this awesome community. That's the other thing, too, that's going to be great about Showcase, and it's really good about comments, just the glowing.
Oh, it just makes you feel better.
It's real good.
It's like getting a massage.
Yeah, it's like, should I cry? You know, like, and actually, when we were going to make guidelines for community comments, like, I'm always tempted to be like, you know, thanks for the compliments, but, like, we don't need to, I want to get to your stuff.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Yeah.
I was totally wrong on my E3 dream of a Valkyria Chronicles 2 remaster for the PS4, and a localization announcement for Valkyria Chronicles 3. Doesn't matter, though, as my summer gaming will be covered with Middle-earth Shadow of War, I'm assuming, he wrote Mordor.
Yeah.
The Evil Within, assuming he means 2, Ni no Kuni, and Wolfenstein The New Order. To get ready for the fall, I hope you're enjoying Evil Within. And shout out to both Pyre from Supergiant Games and Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice from Ninja Theory.
Cool.
Those are my 2 anticipated games of the year, and I can't wait to see how they turn out. And those were... sleeper hits, I think.
Yeah.
I hope Pyre sold well.
Yeah.
Pyre's doing good on Steam, right? A lot of people, because it's like versus, so a lot of people...
Yeah, but it's not at that same level that their other 2 were.
Oh, okay.
I think if you compare it against, what's the sword game?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, what
Transistor.
is it? Whoa, Jones.
Didn't play it, and I got that. Poof. I thought we were going to be lost for a while. But yeah, the Senua's Sacrifice is cool to see getting the love from E3, because I know that made a huge splash when it came out. Miguel Rivas, who likes to comment. Being hecka wrong about Microsoft announcing an Xbox theme park simulator is not so surprising. What is not surprising was predicting Microsoft would announce OG Xbox backwards compatibility, which he totally called. He was like, that's going to be the big thing at the show. He's like, all these things will likely happen, but the sleeper announcement will be backwards compatibility for the original Xbox.
And that was a sleeper announcement. That's good.
Let's hope every other console manufacturer follows Microsoft's lead and has backwards compatibility for all their previous consoles, though at the very through at least a digital download. Antonio Coyne, whose name I do not recognize. I feel like I was way off this E3 on anything that wasn't really obvious, like a God of War or Spider-Man appearance. That being said, I am super happy with some of the surprises we got, like Dragon Ball Fighters, Metroid, and even Anthem has me interested, which we haven't talked about at all the last 4 months.
They haven't given us reason to.
All in all, this E3, but yeah, BioWare's definitely the type of company that just, they're gone. They're vanished. They're on another planet right now. All in all, this E3 felt like one of those in-between years for me, where all of the big guns aren't necessarily ready to show up, so they throw some smaller surprises into the ring, along with some updates on things already unveiled. With that being said, it was still a great time, and I love the content you guys put out for it, and it's years like these that make me even more excited for the next E3 that is hopefully stacked with all new projects we have never seen before. Do you think that's likely, Kyle Bossman?
Yeah.
Projects we've never seen before, is it coming?
Jones, we're gonna get hints of the next generation at next E3.
Oh, yeah. You brought that up at the podcast, and I was like, oh, it just feels... Does it always feel too soon? Every time it's like, oh, it's too soon.
It always feels too soon.
This gen's so good.
No. I would say last gen, it did not feel too soon.
No, we were ready.
It was time for the PS4. It was absolutely time.
The 360 and the PS3 were getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Cesar Villa, Community Comment Pro. E3 just ended, and while a Sin and Punishment game was not announced, big fan, I can hardly say I'm disappointed. Apparently, Nintendo is listening and learning. The Pokemon Direct a week prior was a mess.
Yeah.
I remember that. I watched it live, and as soon as it was evident that the Switch game was Pokken, chat was filled with thumbs down and Episode 3 Darth Vader impersonators. No.
You don't remember me ranting about this?
Not specifically. There's been a lot of
so mad about the Pokken thing.
But then the spotlight. I mean, you've had multiple Pokken rants, so they all blend together. But then the spotlight came. And the Pokemon Company director gave his announcement that a new game is in development for the Switch. Thanks. That was all we needed. Following the screen went black, some stars appeared, and a lightning shape started to show... I remember this, baby, yeah. While this soft music hinted a theme way too familiar. Metroid Prime 4 in development for Nintendo Switch. Feel free to censor these words, Jones, but my interpretation of those two announcements was clear. We heard you, they are coming, now please shut the fuck up already. Yes, Nintendo, I'll shut up. Since I was at work and the Soul Prime 4 announcement was enough for me, I closed the Twitch tab and went on with my day, until a coworker told me to go back and check what Nintendo was showing. I did it reluctantly, but was pleasantly surprised to see Samus again. I will never understand why they didn't bother to mention this remake in the spotlight, but who cares? I have a new Metroid in my hand in 3 months. I wanted to end in a high note saying that I pre-ordered the game already, but for some reason GameStop didn't like my Mexican credit card. I really like to get that special edition with the CD, but now I'll have to wait and hope that at least one will make it over the border at a decent price. Yeah, crazy with the Metroid announcement, and crazy that like in the time that this comment went up, the game's out.
Yeah.
He's like, Cesar's probably beaten it already. Michael Favacci, former podcast producer. For all of the not shown or unannounced games I was hoping for, I can still say that this was an awesome E3. I had a blast sharing it with the EZA community. One announcement stood above the rest, however, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this sentiment. And that was the reveal of the Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Here we go.
No fan of this classic even considered the possibility of a remake. Why would we think we could have that? But now, I have a new game on the horizon to look forward to, and I can't wait to hop on aggro and yet again challenge impossible odds. Thank you, Bluepoint, and thank you, Ueda. Wow. To the assumption that that was like a huge deal, because that was definitely, like, I love that game, but that wasn't...
I trashed on it.
That wasn't a humongous deal.
Yeah.
At least to me.
So, yeah, it is always cool to see perspectives like that.
Boy, all these games we haven't heard about it, like a peep from since. DMC Master. I'd never thought I'd see a trailer that filled me with so much joy and excitement that I would somehow manage to physically hurt myself. In my excitement, jumping from the joy from the trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, I jumped into the glass dome that is on my ceiling fan, but the pain didn't bother me. Well, it did once I realized I was bleeding, but after years of waiting, we finally have Beyond Good and Evil 2. Although I can't help but feel a bit worried for what was given given what Ansel has promised, and looking at the results of other similar games that have recently come out, such as No Man's Sky. But I have faith that Ansel will deliver on it, especially after learning that the game would be handcrafted with procedural elements. A video by Yong Ye talks a bit more in depth about what BG&E 2 would hopefully deliver on, but we have to wait and see. In other news, I sadly had to miss going to CES maybe, due to car trouble, although I am going to make it a point to go next year, even though if it means having to drive out to Daytona, cue Daytona USA theme.
So it is CEO.
What's CEO?
I don't know, but it this is June. Yeah, June. What is CEO?
I'll hopefully, so this would be in July. I'll hopefully convince myself to practice something enough to the point where I feel competent enough to compete in either Street Fighter, CEO, Smash, or whatever. As a brief aside, maybe CEO could act as a meeting ground for the East Coast allies to meet up.
Just somebody using a little circular saw out there.
There we go. Yeah,
and also, if you're wondering what the chomping noise, that's Sophie. That's Sophie just biting the bounds.
Were people saying, like, what's that chomping sound?
No, but nobody was. So CEO is a fighting games tournament.
Cool.
In Daytona?
Yeah, apparently.
Daytona.
But as a brief aside, maybe CEO could act as a meeting ground for East Coast allies to meet up. So yeah, if that's on the East Coast.
Well, Jones, it's too late now.
But they do it every year.
Don't you feel bad? DMC Master was trying to get people to meet up at CEO.
No, because this comment was
months later.
This comment was posted on Patreon.
Okay, all right.
This summer so far, I always feel bad though, Kyle. This summer so far, I do feel really bad about community comments. I apologize that we're doing this the way we're doing it.
This is a fun way to do this.
But this is fun,
to be honest
and I'm excited about the showcase because like I'm trying to barrel through these because I got a lot of comments to go through. But the showcase is gonna be a lot breezier, and I'm excited about possibly people do stuff, maybe showing it twice or like just like creating discussions about the stuff. Luke Dayok. This summer so far, I've been chugging away at Breath of the Wild, starting playing Overwatch and loving it. May is Bay. 3 episodes into Walking Dead Season 3, tried out The Crew after that awesome-looking Crew 2 gameplay. My summer's pretty packed now, just to brush off some of my backlog.
Yes, hold on a second. Jones, this is why I like this. Somebody hyping up The Crew 2.
Yeah.
When none of us will. I have to acknowledge the one comment from chat. We can't lower the microphone. This is the lowest height of the stand.
Yeah, so we're just going to try to stay on either side.
Move a little over here. And also, sorry if we don't acknowledge chat. We do just want to focus on the comments primarily.
Last month, I talked about how... so Jeremy Ferris chiming in, also about Zelda. Last month, I talked about how I had finally started Zelda after taking the semester off of video games to focus on college. Respect. I did not do that ever. I am now able to report that I am 75-ish hours into the game. I found 96 shrines, 3 divine beasts completed, and found the Master Sword. While I've been thoroughly enjoying the game, I'm finding that I'm wanting the journey to end soon. I don't think I'll get all the shrines. I didn't. Probably stopping at around 104-ish, so I can get 2 more hearts, along with the one I'll get from the last divine beast. Overall, it's been a great adventure, and while I think Majora's Mask is still my favorite, this is one that I'll be looking back on fondly, and has been a great way to say goodbye to my Wii U. As for my next game, I think the time is right to see what all of the hype is about with the Metroid series. Just in general. Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty hype.
We need a follow-up.
But yeah, interesting. I didn't think about that experience, that people making that decision. They're like, all right, I'm not going to invest in a Switch just yet. This will be my final Wii U game.
Yeah.
You know, just like when you find, like, it's not only putting the pad down to finish playing Breath of the Wild, but you're just like, there you go. Box it up.
It's a good send-off for the Wii U.
Yeah. Robert I, loving making comments. I've been enjoying Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, like crazy.
Yeah.
I held off on getting the season pass until I played through the game in its entirety, and then decided that if I really liked it, I'd get the DLC to enhance my replays. Well, I ended up really liking it, and had no problem essentially paying for the game again in order to prolong and enhance the experience. At this writing, the final DLC pack has been released, which adds 4 new recruitable heroes, which will change how this playthrough goes from my last one. Already, I'm planning my next playthrough, and how I can shake things up by using the Villager's Fork item to reset some characters' classes to specialize their skills in something entirely different than I had them before. Looking ahead, the next game I have arriving is the Final Fantasy XII Remaster, which I did not buy when it first came out, so I'm really excited to give it a fair shot this time around. I'm specifically looking forward to messing around with the Gambit system. Yeah, messing around with RPGs sounds like something you enjoy doing, Robert.
So that is DLC I actually bought.
Cool.
For Fire Emblem. They have like a 3rd upgrade to your class that you have to pay for, and I was all in for it, James.
Nice.
Like imagine you have a Charmander.
So after the purchase, you're happy with that?
It evolves into Charmeleon, and they're like, "Hey, $2 for Charizard."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, let's do this." That's exactly what that game does to you. It's ridiculous.
Jesse Abraham. I thought for sure we would see a new Animal Crossing this E3. Sorry. But I'm still optimistic Nintendo can show us next year. Are you? Are you, Jesse? I'm in love with ARMS right now. Sadly, I can't seem to get others to play against me since I built up a tolerance to the motion controls and will beat them to a pulp. Wow.
And that's the end of the comment.
Jesse is beating people to a pulp online with ARMS. Look out, everybody. If you see Jesse coming at you in ARMS, back away. Xylo Wolfbane, Injustice 2. Never before has a man who's so awful at Mortal Kombat-style fighting games has loved a game made by that studio so much. I would agree. I think that's my favorite NetherRealm game. The story, the graphics, the loot collecting, there's just so much to enjoy with this game. I spent 2 weeks maxing out every character and collecting full epic loadouts for each of them to use in the multiverse. Before the entire world forgets about this game when Dissidia and Dragon Ball Fighters comes out. I don't know if Dissidia is going to knock Injustice 2 off of any kind of throne, but Fighters for sure is going to be... the zeitgeist. I thoroughly recommend that people give this game a shot. I've spent so many enjoyable hours with it and have never once felt the urge to dip into online multiplayer. There's that much to do. My greatest compliment for Injustice 2 is that I was like, all right, I feel pretty comfortable with Catwoman. Let's do this. Yeah. Won a couple. I love this.
Jones,
yeah.
In the future, I would love to see you compete.
Oh, okay.
Online.
All right. Well, I'd need a couple days to get back. Right. It's been a while.
That's pretty cool.
Icon Master, 1 sentence. There are 2 Metroids.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they must have known that was going to be like a slam dunk. They're just like, okay, well, they'll be really cool that we'll announce this new 3DS Metroid game and then we'll release a couple days later. And it's like... let's put like a teaser together for 4, and then at a direct or at next E3 we'll announce 4 and we'll have a cool trailer. And they're like, oh, that'd be such a slam dunk though if we did both.
Yeah, I had a lot of problems with Samus Returns, but like Mercury Stream pulled it off. They actually made a good Metroid game, a good 2D Metroid game, which we couldn't say for a long time.
Certainly better than the last one, which I did not play. J-Med. This has been a year of giants, not just in terms of quality titles, but also in terms of game length. Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, Neo, Persona 5, Gravity Rush 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Yakuza 0 are all excellent games worthy of our attention, but are huge time investments that require your focus and dedication. All games that I've forgotten about at this point. Not forgotten about, I remember these games. But like, remember that era? Remember that time this year where like, those 6 hard hitters were just like, whoa. What a year so far, and like here we are now talking about all sorts of other crazy games. Sometimes when coming home from a long day of work or school, I just cannot handle the dedication required to play these virtual juggernauts, and eventually I was starting to get burned out. After taking a small break from video games, I came back to the medium not wanting an investment, but something quick. Instead of turning to the future for indie games on the horizon, I turned to my backlog and found 2 titles that I knew would be a fast playthrough and had a heap of critical praise that I just never made time for. Bastion and Undertale.
Here we go.
Bastion was my first jump back into gaming, and it was a warm welcome. Fun and fast combat, a visually arresting art style, incredible music, and a narrator that rivals our own Brandon Jones. It was a delight to play through, even if the story was par for the course, in my opinion. But as much as I enjoyed Bastion, Undertale is clearly in a league of its own. Not in such a long time have I seen writing so adeptly balance oddball humor with a very somber story, one of segregation and wanting to belong. The characters, instantly memorable with dialogue that is funny to read, but also gives a great sense of who they are as people, and who they aspire to become. The combat, a nice twist on what an old-school RPG can be, the art style subdued but also surprisingly beautiful, the music, one of the best OSTs this generation. Undertale is most definitely a future classic. While the 2 titles I mentioned are nothing if incredibly well known, in a year of getting overwhelmed with too much fantastic stuff and feeling as if you need to play through it all in order to stay relevant, it was nice to just take a step back. Thank you, Bastion and Undertale, for not only being fun, but also reminding me as to why I love this medium so much in the first place, and being just what I needed in this whirlwind of a year. It's another thing that I love about community comments, where it's just like, yeah, screw all these games everybody's talking about. I played Back to the Future on the NES. And you're like, oh, great. Like, it's just fun to for people to dig in. Or for so many years to go by, and then it's like, oh, nobody's talking about Horizon anymore. And then all of a sudden someone's like, all right, I finally played it. It's like, oh, okay. Let's get a little reset.
High standards, though, to say Bastion is par for the course.
The story, I think.
Yeah.
You said was par for the course, yeah.
Yeah.
Played Bastion, never finished it. Do you think that's unfair?
I hated the narrator.
Oh, okay.
The kid. Yeah, like, I'm
Just with the 2 words in. No.
Yeah.
No.
The kid.
Cornfan 2007, one of the top community commenters. My final Yakuza 0 update. 215 hours. 100% completion run, followed by all climax battles, and finally legendary difficulty run. Platinum trophy obtained. My current GOTY contender. I have then moved on to Alienation. Really enjoyable twin-stick shooter, I remember that. Although by the time this is read out, I should have the Platinum Trophy. I would hope so, by now. Then I'll be on to Crash Bandicoot Trilogy. Lots of Crash Bandicoot coming at you, Kyle.
I bet, Cornfan, I'm going to bet you didn't get that Platinum.
The first Crash Bandicoot game is one of my favorite games from my childhood. I got the 100% completion then, and hope to do it again.
No, okay, Cornfan, you got it. You got that Platinum.
I was a bit disappointed with E3.
Cornfan in chat, I do. Okay, all right.
So good.
Yeah, it is good.
I was a bit disappointed with E3 this year. It was to be expected, though. After the high-profile game announcements of the last 2 years, they had to run out of steam for a bit. It's a shame not to hear about some of the big games at all this time around. The EZA conference coverage was good. I like it.
Didn't blow me away. Didn't blow him away.
But it was lacking a little compared to last year.
Ooh.
Jones is always quick to point out the flaws, whereas I felt the other allies didn't do so. We lost the voice this year. Hopefully a better solution can be found next year. All right.
Oh.
He makes it very clear what was missing from our E3 coverage.
Yes.
And it suffered, quite frankly.
Wow.
Yeah, there would definitely be a better balance. Michael, talking about Michael. After Michael Huber's constant praise of Yakuza 0, I finally played and completed the game, and now can officially call myself a fan of the series. Thank you, allies, for introducing something new to my hobby. Looking forward to Kiwami this year, and I will definitely be purchasing Yakuza 6 next year. Much love and respect.
Can we take a time out for a sec?
Yeah.
I think it's actually very interesting to say that we weren't critical enough this year, because I'm always concerned about being too critical. I think people like it in the end. I think because sometimes you say something bad about the game they liked or the press conference they liked.
Yeah.
But I think overall, generally, it's better to be more critical, I guess, of these things.
When I get critical of press conferences, unless it's something immediate, like that Battlefield trailer showing up for like the 5th time. Remember that with the tank and the guy like, ah, you know.
Yes.
I started screaming when I saw that again because I knew it's like, well, we can talk over this because people have seen it. You know, it's like we're not spoiling this for them. But I find a lot of times when an announcement happens, like 50 ideas will explode in my brain, and we'll cover most of them. And then I'll just be kind of thinking there and be like, oh, is nobody going to mention that weird dumb thing? You know, so it's like, it's not in the interest of like, I think it's important to bring this up. It's like, to avoid, parroting everybody and talking about the same points over and over, it's like, here's something no one's mentioned. So yeah, I usually pick up weird stuff like that. So it's like nitpicky. It's not necessarily, like Yoshi, dumb caliber. You know what I'm saying?
That was good stuff, though. That was fire.
Tyler Botil, I want to greatly thank Mr. Ben Moore for introducing me to a JRPG series that I've never even heard of. The Japanese gaming pickups occur mostly in community comments. Those people are like, hey, that Persona 5 is not bad.
Yeah.
Trails in the Sky.
Oh, sure.
A masterful game of its class, Trails in the Sky is a wonderfully charming JRPG with incredibly fleshed out and real characters, an engaging plot, wonderful music, and a fun battle system. I bought and burned through the first game in a week, and now am in a fervor to play through this wonderful series. If you're a fan of JRPGs, you owe it to yourself to try out Trails in the Sky, which I always think is called Trials in the Sky, but it's not. I bet Don would play Trials in the Sky.
He has.
There have definitely been levels that I would call Trials in the Sky. William Haynes. There were 5 games that I was strongly looking forward to in 2017, so why did they all come out at the exact same time? While I've managed to play and enjoy greatly Neo, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Persona 5, I still haven't had a chance to play Nier Automata and Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's getting old having to skip every video out there about how amazing both these games are, but at some point I'll finally get my chance. It's one of those weird personality tests where we all had to pick one. Horizon was mine before I played any of the, or I think Neo came out first before any of those. So I think I might have been.
You played some Neo.
I think I might have dabbled in Neo, and man, I played put 40 hours into all of those demos. But yeah, it was interesting to see who grabbed what first, and then then we all now that Persona's done, now I'll play Zelda. Now that Zelda's done, now I'll play Horizon. I'm taking a long game break though after Persona 5. That was a real slog at the end. 100+ hours is asking too much nowadays, I'm afraid. Playing short, sweet games afterward, like Sexy Brutale. Mm-hmm. Sexy Brutale?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know who? I
just could not smile, that's it?
I want to make a guess. Does Ryan Stevens love Sexy Brutale?
I know, I can say what Ryan Stevens probably likes is Oxenfree.
Yeah, I think those are both Ryan Stevens games.
This might just be Ryan Stevens.
Yeah.
Which is now on Switch. It was so tempting to go back and play that. Oxenfree is perfect for Switch. Oh boy. On a little tiny screen with the headphones in the dark. Yep. Was quite the nice change of pace, though. This may make Ian happy, too. I've decided to get The Witness during this summer sale, and that will be my next playthrough. Only trying because all of the loves Ian's shown to it, love and respect. So wonderful to be like, hey, I like that ally, and I like that they like that game. I don't like that game. I'll try it. I liked it. The warm, fuzzy feelings every single time. Andrew Bailey. Last month I was getting into Persona 5. I said it might go down as an all-time favorite. 100 hours of gameplay later, it's an all-time favorite. All-time favorite confirmed.
Good delivery on that one, Jones.
Carl Williams. My gaming... See, that's the... I would never read it that way if I was in the booth.
How would you read it in the booth?
It would be the same inflection, but less intense.
Oh, okay. Got you.
100 hours of gameplay later, it's still my favorite. Mm-hmm. We're live, a little more passion.
Yeah, okay.
Carl Williams. My gaming plans this summer can be best described with just one word. Stormblood. Now that the latest expansion of Final Fantasy XIV has finally been released, I can fully expect to spend very long hours playing through loads of brand new content. Again, would love the recap. Especially for a lot of people now that the summer's over and we're kind of gearing up to a new gaming season. Is Stormblood still a thing? Is that still something that they're working? Are they sunsetting Stormblood, game time, or is it no, I'm still in it. We're still doing raids.
You could just ask Damiani.
No, you can't. Damiani's not your typical 14 player. You know what I mean? You can never check in with Damiani about hey, what's going on in that world? It's always going to be oh, let me tell you. Which is so funny because Damiani is so relevant. Damiani will bring things up so often. I'm like, what? I didn't hear about that. I didn't know about that. I didn't know that company bought that company, or I didn't know that weird small convention was happening right now. Cool dig. Whereas when 14's the only game when he'll talk about it's you heard about this, right? And we're like, no, I don't.
You're right, Return to Evilise.
He made a PvP ref the other day that was just totally you know how 14 PvP be. No, I don't. I'm going to level up all my jobs, face off against brand new primals, and tackle the new 8-man and 24-man raids. I love the concept of the primals, and that's one of my favorite things about 14. Those primals. And while I hope to put some time into upcoming summer releases like Crash Bandicoot, Insane Trilogy, Sonic Mania, and even Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age, I already know they'll be pushed to the wayside while Stormblood takes hold of my gaming life and never lets go. That being said, I have no complaints. I'm already having a great time with Stormblood. And what's great is we got 4 months after this, Kyle. So we got... 3 months. We got July, August, and September.
A lot of pages.
So we might get that update.
Yeah.
With our next check-in with Carl Williams might be no, Stormblood's bad.
Check in, though. I'm still having a good time. I'm loving this.
Awesome. And you're going to read that name. I want you to give a crack at that. I'm curious to hear the Kyle Bossman version of that.
Ooh, so you know this, don't you?
I don't. I never got a confirmation on this one.
So, my tendency is to go Noel, but I think most people do Noel. Even with the 2 dots above the E. Nuo, Air, Ng. NG. Is that Vietnamese to just do NG?
Noel, Nuo, Air, and Erng. Noel, yeah.
I think you would just go
4 words.
Help us.
Apologies. Finally, I've done it. I've purchased myself a copy of Final Fantasy XIV all the way up to the Stormblood expansion. OMG, mind blown like a shotgun in the face. The story's so well written, so engaging. I'm finally here, and with me is a company of free allies. Love and respect for all. Feels good.
No, when somebody says like an MMO has it just bums me out, dude. I'll never get in there. Oh yeah, it looks like NG is just
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
I'll never see that.
Yeah, I know.
I'll never see
even
that.
Destiny. Even Destiny. I'm every now and then I'll see some tweet about it, and I'm like, I'm not even close.
Yeah.
Not even dipping my toe in that world. Dominic Hunter, in light of all the major releases this year, both past and future, I feel a need to break away from it all for a moment and share some love for a very niche game that I've been happily playing since March. Atelier Fierce? I want to say Fyrus, but it's not. I remember being corrected by Blood. I think it's Atelier Fierce.
Fierce, okay.
Alchemist of the Mysterious Journey. This game is the latest entry in the long-running and rather obscure JRPG franchise, and it certainly didn't help that it came westward on March 7th, right in the middle of the wallet-killing Dream Game Marathon that was the first 4 months of this year. And in a way, that's a real shame. While we were all celebrating Nintendo's achievement in redesigning the Legend of Zelda formula in a way that made Breath of the Wild a much more involving and engaging game, this title was doing the same thing for its own 20-year-old formula. Atelier Fierce ambitiously makes use of open-world game elements to craft an experience that prioritizes player-driven discovery and adventure in a way no previous game in this series has. 40 hours in, I'm still having a blast discovering new environments, enemies, and items. It's a fantastic and fresh sensation that has me hooked, and has completely reinvigorated my enthusiasm for this franchise. I feel like I could write a book about all the other smaller games this game improves upon its predecessors, but for the sake of my fellow EZA fans, I won't. If you've ever had any, even fleeting interest in the Atelier series, or if you're just looking for an interesting JRPG to play, I urge you to give Atelier Fierce a look. If you end up liking it even half as much as I do, it will have been well worth your time.
So, the Atelier games always look so good. They have such a distinct style. I've actually been always curious, because you just like click on the videos, you want to watch their trailers, because they look so good. That was high praise. Dang, that was a good one. Good comment.
This is kind of fun, because we're currently playing the sequel to this game. This month, which also is the first time I'm posting for these videos. I'm sorry, Sebastian Lotius Hall. That's why I got a co-pilot.
Yep.
I talk about a game that left a huge impact on me, and it will be one of those games that I will look back to with a huge smile on my lips. I'm talking about Life is Strange. A friend of mine played it at its release, and has been bugging me for about it ever since. I didn't like playing it at first, and I never was a fan of episodic games. Wow. However, with the next installment being announced and it being free on PS Plus, I decided to download it and give it a go. It didn't take long for the game to really grab me. Already by the title card of Episode 1, I was excited. Making decisions, talking to people, and learning more about the characters in this universe made me wish this game would never end. I can't recommend this game enough to people. The music is perfect, the characters feel genuine, and it plays with all your emotions. I have laughed, screamed, and this was the first game since The Last of Us that really made me cry. Parts of the story are really impactful, and having parts playing out certain ways because of choices you made are something special. On some podcast or something, might have been a tweet, somebody asked, what game made you cry? Mm-hmm. And I was like, trying to think about like actual moments. I'm like, I remember being very sad and emotional, but like actual tears. Oh yeah, oh man. Bawling multiple times during Life is Strange. I think that the less you know before getting into this game, the better. It's not a very hard game mechanics-wise, but there will be times where you'll have to think long and hard about what to do. If you want to play a game that leaves a huge mark, play this game, because life sure is strange.
Cool. Jones, it's another one I have on my hard drive that I've not started.
The first one? Well,
Sophie goes from max comfort, just like, all right, I'm good. It's so funny. Okay. Yeah, that first game I have on my hard drive. It's one of the, I intended to play it, but it just, dang, dude. It's cool to hear people praise it even months later,
Tim O'Keefe. Never heard of that name before. Do you know Tim O'Keefe?
T. O'Keefe, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Tim's a mainstay. wherever you go, wherever you are, Tim is there. I'd like to give a shout out to some lesser known games in the community comments. So this month, I'd like to talk about Downwell. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. This is so great. Downwell? Mm-hmm. Yeah. A roguelike arcade shooter where you're falling down and shoot with your boots. Downwell is one of the best designed games I've played. Everything you do in the game has a dual purpose. The jump button is used for shooting too. Your gun boots kill enemies, slow you down. It's made this way so the player understands the mechanics quickly. The combo system is like a dynamic difficulty for playing the game. The higher the combo, the greater the risk and the greater the reward. If you're looking for a just one more round type of game, Downwell will absolutely scratch that itch. I wonder if that's on mobile. It seems like a very mobile type game.
Oh, it is on like PS4 and Xbox and PC.
Okay. Pokey Clyde, who likes to comment. Short comments are nice. And so is the idea of possessing Bowser in Super Mario Odyssey, which I don't hear Huber talking about nearly enough.
Yeah, they have to save that for the end, right?
That's got to be the finale. Yeah, the final.
Final boss.
The final toss. And here he is.
I'm sorry, chat. It confirms it is on iOS as well.
Nice.
Well done, Jones.
And here he is. The Santa Claus of the Easy Allies. Community comments, community.
Okay.
Mr. Jason A. Sackle.
Santa Claus.
With June. Like, people like, unprovoked would approach me at meet and greets and being like, you should see Sackle's comment this month. It's intense. Just like,
okay.
This man's comments are legendary.
Great.
And I don't know. I've actually never checked who Jason is on Twitch. I don't know if he's Sackle or somebody else. With June being a bit of a lull as far as new games are concerned, I thought I would comment on 2 games from earlier this year and how one impacted the enjoyment of another. This is how The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild ruined Horizon Zero Dawn for me. First, let me start off by saying that it doesn't mean that I think Horizon Zero Dawn is a bad game. This is just how coming fresh off The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild affected my approach to it. I'll break it down to 3 categories: traversing, discovery, and sequence. Jason Sackle, everybody. Okay. Okay.
Sequence.
Can we just appreciate just the...
Oh, show the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost 2 full pages.
In one of the changes for Community Showcase, you can't do a Sackle comment.
You can't Sackle it up.
You can't go this
You can
long.
try. Sackle can try, but I'll cut you down, Sackle. I'll snip. Traversing. Chapter 1. In Zelda, you're able to go anywhere as long as your stamina permits it. This wired climbing and parasailing mechanics that I adored parasailing's the best, into my brain. When I approached Horizon, one of my first objectives that I came across was to talk to a woman up on a big rock. How do I climb up the rock? I just tried climbing up it, as I would climb in Zelda. It would take me way longer than I like to admit before I finally stopped doing that. Immediately, it felt like I felt the freedom I had in the Zelda game vanish. I know exactly the rock and woman he's talking about, and I had problems too. Yeah. And I played Horizon first. Discovery. Oh, maps and your icons. Another of my favorite things in Zelda was the lack of icons on the map. If you didn't find a town yet, there wouldn't be an icon on your map. If you didn't walk by a lake, the name of it wouldn't be on your map. Discovery itself became an adventure. When I activated a tower, it just revealed the landscape. In Horizon, you get shown every damn thing. The bandit camp, weapon upgrade area, towns, etc. After knowing and enjoying the exploration and discovery that was found in Zelda, I felt robbed of it and less interested in exploring. That's an interesting perspective. Because I feel sometimes when games, like Shadow of Mordor showed everything, and I kind of like that. I kind of like being like, all right, done. Let me just see if I can find those, done. I think the difference is the world in Shadow of War is not as interesting as the world, just visually. Just the actual, just walking around and the thing you're standing on is not as visually compelling.
No, I get this, especially in the towns. They just didn't feel fun to explore. I 100% get that argument.
If I saw a waterfall in Shadow of War, I'd be like, cool. You know, if I saw a waterfall in Zelda, it's like...
You're going behind that waterfall.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Sequence. In Zelda, I would be able to complete a quest before talking to an NPC that would normally kick the quest off. If I run into the NPC that was supposed to give me the quest afterwards, they would start explaining, then stop mid-sentence and explain something along the lines of, oh, you found it. Yeah. And that would get my reward. What I did influenced dialogue trees. Good luck with that in Horizon. Ooh, burn. There is a point where you came across a bandit camp and there was a character called Nil, who apparently the game wants you to talk to before taking care of the bandit camp. Now, you may be wondering why I said apparently. This is where it gets awesome. If you go in, kill all the bandits, free all the prisoners, yada yada, and then talk to Nil, the dialogue is still the same. Not just that, oh no no no, oh, not just that, oh no no no. As you talk to Nil, he will tell you how bandits took over that area, while the game shows you a pan over a peaceful camp that you just cleared. He will talk about prisoners that need saving, as you are shown empty prisoner cages as you had freed them already, and then he will offer to help kill all the bandits. You then must initiate a conversation again, which I did a second later, to hear him remark about how he was impressed with my skill to complete that quest. I have no idea if they've patched it since, but instances like this really broke my engagement with that world and characters. Totally legitimate complaint.
Do you know what I think that is? I think that's game designers being precious with their dialogue.
Yeah.
I really think they think their dialogue is so important that...
I wrote that.
Yeah.
To sum it all up, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild felt like an immersive world, which I just got sucked into, and at the same time raised expectations for what an open world game can be. So much so that when I played Horizon Zero Dawn, I couldn't help but feeling let down. Again, this is all personal opinion, but that is how The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild ruined Horizon Zero Dawn for me.
That's good.
That is my report on what I did this summer.
I think there's still plenty of Horizon that's still super good and like there is to enjoy, but yeah, those are three.
It's tough. I mean, that's it. When they eat sushi, they want you to cleanse the palate. You know, they don't want any of that other stuff in before you absorb this new thing.
Yeah, hard to
and going from one open world game into another. I think I did Horizon and then Zelda.
Yeah.
And I think the opposite thing. I think one of the main ones for me was Horizon has that left arm bring out the bow, right arm to shoot it, so L2 to, and then the R2 to actually like fire the, I'm sorry, no, like L2 to bring it up and aim, and R2 to pull it and then release to let go.
Yeah.
And I just love the two fingers, because it's like two hands, like I like that connection.
I didn't realize you were making that.
And when I went into Zelda and was like, oh, it's one button? Meh. And it was like, 10 hours later, it was like, whatever. It's fine. It works within the, I have so many more things I can do than I could do in Horizon, so. Whereas there's more stuff you can do with the bow in Horizon than you can do. You can just like light stuff on fire, ice, and lightning. That's about it. I'm super stoked I know how to pronounce this correctly now. Tim Bechen.
Bechen.
B-E-C-H-E-N. Bechen. Way back in my first community comment, I post. Oh, look at this! Now we're wrapping up community comments, and we got a sunset. I complained that I missed Uncharted 4 because I'm on vacation. Can't believe this happens again with Lost Legacy. Next time I check first with Naughty Dog before I book anything. I am so happy with my Switch. Finally defeated Ganon. Right now I can kick back with some Mario Kart, and the rest of the year is filled with so many great games and perfect intervals. And a new Metroid got announced. Hell yeah! I think Tim is probably even more happy about his Switch now. There's been a lot of fun game announcements, a lot of great indie games, a lot of stuff like... hello, Golf Story. I almost got a Ghost Story. Because it's October. Dominic Barlow. So long, Wii.
Oh.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I need to pare down my physical games and consoles before I move to LA, and you, my daffy friend, are the first off the shelf. Born into the Barlow household on the wings of Christmas 2006, you immediately cemented yourself as the amusement of choice, with your odd little me avatars and your injury-baiting sports minigames. You gave joy in years later with galactic voyages, kart races, Hyrule quests, and laughing fits over WarioWare, but it's the final stretch of this last month, and I'll be especially fond for two reasons. That I'll be especially fond of for two reasons. The first is me closing the book on Zack and Wiki, an adventure game about quixotic swashbucklers that indeed had ambitions too big for Capcom's marketing team. Its sales may have faltered, but clearing the end boss on my 10-year-old save file reminded me of its enduring strengths, which would shine bright in any anniversary Twitch stream, hint, hint, Brad Ellis. The second reason is a very different exposition involving strategy, dexterity, and an army of diminutive plant people. Pikmin, with its Wii-exclusive pointer controls, is a revelation. 3, I'm guessing? Maybe Pikmin 1?
They released 1 and 2 on the Wii.
I played those, yeah.
Yeah.
But a revelation, I guess he never got around to it. The sprawling levels...
Using the Wii Remote on the Wii versions is way better.
Oh, okay, yeah. The sprawling levels demand the mindset of a clinical tactician, yet when I ventured back out to rescue a single straggling foot soldier from the snatches of the oncoming night, I felt like a compassionate superhero. Agreed. Who knew those tiny white remotes would give such good vibes? They'll go to a decent home, but the waggly, heavily memories will always remain. So long, Wii! We certainly did like to play.
Oh, that's fun.
Positive. Mm-hmm. More positive than we've been.
I bought a Wii recently so I could stream GameCube games.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's nice. I actually like it. Joseph Caruso. Nostalgia is a powerful thing, but I try not to let it get the best of me.
When the NES Classic Mini was announced, the chemicals in my brain told me that I could capture my childhood by purchasing this product, if you could. But the logical part of my brain quickly took over and reminded me that those instances when I got to replay those NES games, the vast majority of them were only fun for a few minutes after the novelty wears off. Besides, I already owned the NES games I wanted on Virtual Console. Rumors began to swirl that a Super NES Classic Mini was coming soon, and while the SNES is probably the most defining part of my childhood, I told myself that I would once again resist the temptation to purchase such an item, because capturing your carefree childhood is simply not possible to do on purpose. You can't buy nostalgia. I disagree. It's just something that occasionally comes over you. And yet, here we are. The SNES Classic Mini was announced, and I'm desperately trying to pre-order one. You win, Brain Chemicals! You win! I'm gonna stop with the drilling. Let's get a little toasty in here, Kyle. You're ready.
Yeah, we got circular saws on both sides. What is this?
Well, it's just coming through the... They're doing work, we're doing work, we're all doing work.
You can buy nostalgia.
You definitely can. I don't know if you can buy happiness. You probably can too, but...
The carousel.
The what?
The carousel.
The carousel?
That's Don Draper's speech. It's called
the
carousel.
It's a... Okay. I was gonna quote Billy Madison, but you're in the... Oh, no, Happy Gilmore, but Kyle's on the carousel.
That would just set me off. Let's do it, dude.
I mean, it's
like, Sandler quote?
So he says circular. He's like, you get on the Ferris wheel, you go around. Circular. Circular.
Yeah.
And it all goes around. You buy the ticket, take the ride. Joseph, we did that. J. Aldiar. I made a deal with myself to swear off Zeitgeist games for the year, to stop buying things because I wanted to be a part of the conversation and instead focus on the games that I was honestly interested in. And it's been a fantastic decision. I've had the chance to enjoy some of this year's releases that I was most invested in. Breath of the Wild, Mass Effect Andromeda, Nier Automata, but I've also taken time to play the older games that I never gotten to. Bravely Default, the Kingdom Hearts series, and backburnered some of early 2017's releases for later in the year. E3 brought a few more release dates that I'm looking forward to this fall, but for now, I'm really enjoying focusing on what I want to play, rather than stressing over being behind the times. Tomorrow, I start Persona 5, and I know I'll enjoy it more now than if I tried to rush through it when it came out. You're probably still playing. Stephen Oz. Not too much in the way of summer gaming. Still playing Breath of the Wild. Maybe I'll finish it. Ouch.
Whoa.
Also, wanted to say, I graduated from college. A little bit late, but nevertheless I did it. Man, better late than never. Thanks to the allies who streamed and the forums for always being there for me. You all helped me immensely to keep my mind focused. Now all I have to do is find a job.
Way harder than graduating
Way harder than graduating college. Kyle Lee. After 4 long years, I finally have a PS4. I'm excited to finally be playing games I've dreamt about for so long.
Getting a PS4 is a big deal. We should go back to applaud college slightly longer than we do getting a PS4.
For college.
So for college.
That's okay. Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to give equal applause to both things.
It's exciting to finally be playing games I've dreamt about for so long, but the backlog is a brutal beast I'm facing right now. I've already had to move on from 2 games to another pair just because I feel like any time I'm spending on a game I'm not fully enjoying is time I'm taking away from something better. That'd be funny too, just like the constant test, just like... I don't like it, no. Just like second by second, throwing games in, 5 minutes at a time. The other creeping phantom that's making this harder is all of the remasters of PS3 games that I missed out on as a 360 owner. It feels like I'm playing catch-up with just 2 whole console generations, and it's incredibly daunting. For now, I'm just going to try to chill out with Dragon Age Inquisition and Watch Dogs and try not to worry about it. That is, until Persona 5 gets delivered in the mail. Freedom says, this month I was able to enter Ben's dojo and had a blast playing Guilty Gear with the great Dragon of Iowa himself. Thank you for the matches. Love and respect.
Ben's Dojo is a weekly stream in which Ben simply plays fighting games and tries to get good. With you.
And that's June! The longest of the months.
Oh, we're done with June.
That was June.
I'm gonna get water. You want a water?
I got water over here.
Okay.
But yeah.
Fun month.
June.
June.
Times. I want to write an X-Files episode, a spec X-Files episode called The Dragon of Iowa. Oh, and it's worth saying, the following comments were pulled from the Easy Allies Patreon page among our $10 and above patrons. They represent what our community was interested in and playing... Oh, wait a minute. No. In July. I didn't... Yeah. Change July. In July.
Copy and paste.
Nailed it.
We should... You know what? For broadcasting etiquette, we should re-explain what we're doing.
we are reading off all of the community comments that we received for the months of June, July, August, and September. Because in the month of October, which we are currently in right now, community comments is transforming into community showcase, where we will not only read comments, we will show off songs that people write, games that people make, videos that people shoot, anything that you can think of that you can get to us that we can showcase, that you created for the show itself. Then if you are we are streaming this, but if you are a, $10 or above patron on patreon.com/easyallies, you can participate in the community showcase. Too late to drop a comment for this video, but previously it was community comments where people would write comments and I would say them. So I'm going to say them. I'm going to go through all of them. Hopefully my voice will stay with me, and I will get to the end of the summer, basically. It's summertime, everybody!
Yeah, summertime comments.
And the living is easy. And the circular sawing is easy. Here we go. It's a Crash Bandicoot marathon. You ready?
I don't see who's up next, even.
Corn Fan,
The
2007. I got the platinum.
Straight up, I got the platinum.
In Crash Bandicoot 1 at the start of the month, and also finished the DLC when that was released. Moved on to finally get the platinum in I Am Setsuna. Then I played a mix of games over the month, but kept losing focus. Finally settled on buying Fallout 4. I've been waiting for the GOTY edition and finally given up and picked up the base game cheap. Really enjoying it so far. I love that people were cracking up. That came out this year. The Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition.
Did it?
Yeah.
Weird.
It came out like a month ago, and I remember just a lot of people were like, "What?"
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't this year. But that's the thing about Fallout is that DLC. I remember the Fallout 3 DLC was just non-stop. I mean, like Bloodworth kept playing it.
It seemed like an event when Fallout 3 DLC would come out.
It's like Fallout. It was like a 3 or 4 year era where it was just Fallout and Borderlands DLC every month. It was just like a whole new weird crazy theme.
Yeah.
And then we finally get one. I think it might have been omitted. Maybe we missed them. That's another thing too. Unfortunately, Patreon likes to drop comments every now and then, so we get people get frustrated. But Brandon K. Gann, a prolific commenter. In July, there were two things that grabbed my attention more than anything else. I took a trip down memory lane with Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, and despite what many have said, the overall package wasn't as difficult as it's made out to be. Yes, the first game has a couple of levels that are nonsense, but overall, the games play and look fantastic, and has me curious as to what the future of the property will be. Does Activision want me to say the Insane Trilogy?
Yes.
They don't want me to, the Insane Trilogy, they don't want that?
Oh, do you want to say
Insane? It's capital N. Insane.
Yeah, they want you to say N, the letter.
Oh, because I like to. Okay.
Yeah.
Just seeing if Activision and I are on the same page.
Yeah.
However, I'm not sure I want a new game. The first three hold a special place to me, and I've been burned by other entries in the franchise, so I feel like I've had my fix. But sales are too much to not give two possibilities: a brand new game that is probably being discussed, or another remake is coming in the form of Crash Team Racing. The other big takeaways was the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer announcing Toy Story coming to the series. For a long time, Toy Story seemed like the most requested world from fans, but I couldn't figure out how the Heartless Nobodies would mix with the aesthetic, how Sora, Donald, and Goofy would look, and what the story arc would be, both world-specific and in the larger scope. As such, I've been averse to the idea of the world for years. Yet, the trailer from D23 satisfied my worries. The open-level design anticipated my location concerns, the Galaxy Toys store solved my gameplay questions with mech play, and receiving a release year was massive. Will the game come out in 2018? I highly doubt it, but I desperately want to be wrong. Between Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Last of Us Part 2, Cyberpunk 2077, and Death Stranding, I'm used to waiting.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, oh my goodness. I would totally write off Cyberpunk if it wasn't CD Projekt.
Yeah.
You know? If that would seem like the last company that would just be like, nah, never mind. Like Rockstar? Totally. Sure. I could see Rockstar being like, Agent, what's Agent? Screw you guys. You know?
It's kind of sad. There's some hints that production is not going smoothly, actually.
I bet it's absolutely breaking their hearts if it is, you know? It's like,
oh, yeah.
They just seem to always be really coy and excited about it. But,
I mean, it still happened. It will still happen,
yeah.
But it will not be 2018 for Cyberpunk.
Did you see me take a sip of water? I'm going to take another sip of water. You know why?
Oh, we got another
Jason A. Sackle. For the month of July, I played Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Brief history. Never owned an original PlayStation. Brief history, my foot. So this was all mainly new to me. I even got the Platinum Trophy for all 3 games. Piece of cake.
He's lying.
You may be wondering, why? Why would I replay each level to beat a time trial? Why would I play some levels over and over despite the baffling hitboxes and the frustrations they led to? You may also be wondering, how? How did I have the patience to restart a level over and over? How did I not get an aneurysm from some of the constant BS that thwarted my efforts time and again? So, how? He really builds, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he just builds up.
Good.
On the edge of my seat over here. The answer is music. I got to a point where I turned the game music down to 0, loaded up Spotify, and put on my own tracks.
Oh, this is good. Dang, Jason.
This is very Kyle. This is a very Bossman-esque thing to do. For reasons that I cannot explain, playing while blasting tunes and singing along worked for me. I concentrated on the music instead of the game. I jumped and spun to the beats instead of what my eyes were telling me I should do. I even had my top songs that always helped me excel, even in the most onerous of levels. I love this. My top 3 for a success rate were Living on a Prayer, Vivir mi vida, which I don't know.
Vivir mi vida loca.
No, that's Live in La Vida.
Outside, inside out.
That's Live in La Vida. Vivir is to see, I think. And Vida is life. So I think it's
that's Ricky Martin.
Seeing my life. To see my life, I think. Let me see that. Is that Vivir mi vida? Is that to see my life? Did I get that right? Let me know, chat. And appropriate enough, One More Time, which I think is also... Wait, oh no, One More Time.
Oh, that's really good.
Gonna
yeah,
celebrate.
yeah,
right. Did I die a lot?
Really
of course. In the end, though, I accomplished my mission. Can you imagine having like a gym mix? You know, it's like the Rocky theme. You know, having all those like really inspiring songs. Oh, live your life. Okay. And like to tell like the guys like, oh yeah, I finally played Dark Souls 3. I didn't listen to any of the music though. It was Bon Jovi the whole time. But it helped me through. You know,
yeah.
I don't think they'd be happy about that.
They would be.
As for why, after gathering some thoughts and thinking back, I've come to the only conclusion that made a lick of sense. The only reason why I would subject myself to hours of trial and error until I became victorious, the only reason why I did not give up, it's a simple answer. Very basic. Hits all bullet points. I'm a masochist.
End of comment.
End of comment. Ah, Sackle.
Say what you will about that length. That was a good comment.
They always have a beginning, middle, and end. They got a punchline. They have a theme. He like he's writing a thesis in college. He'll address what he's about to talk about. As you saw before, there were chapters and some parts. Dominic Barlow. With the success of the Insane trilogy, we're still Crash. Many people, including the Allies, have brought up the idea of a Crash game designed as a direct follow-up to the originals. This bothers me for one reason. That game already exists. Back in 2001, Crash made his next-gen debut with The Wrath of Cortex, a platformer developed by Traveler's Tales. At the time, it seemed like we had the same gameplay we loved on the PS1, only it looked and sounded better than ever on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. Alas, hindsight is 2020, and playing the game today shows it to be a soulless imitation of Naughty Dog's pioneering work. It has more vehicle sections, but no fun ones, a bigger voice cast, but no memorable new characters, and smoother graphics, but no distinct style. This kind of staleness, you like style, Kyle.
I do. And actually, I
never knew Kyle rhymed with style. I never thought about that. Kyle Style. Is it Style Kyle or Kyle Style? I like Kyle Style. Look, it's Kyle Style! This kind of staleness is what I would dread if Vicarious Visions made a new mainline Crash. I had a great time with the Insane trilogy. My triple platinum trophies are proof of that.
All right.
I think we've had four. We've had four Crash Bandicoots. Three of the four got all platinums.
They can't all be telling the truth.
I had a great time with the Insane trilogy. My triple platinum trophies are proof of that. But I believe it only succeeds through the smart design and replayability that Naughty Dog put in place all those years ago. Certain aspects of the remake's presentation bug me, and hit detection doesn't even top the list. Complicated maneuvers like ice skating and skid jumping aren't as finely tuned, loading screens are longer and more obvious, and the newly recorded music and vocal performances are largely flat imitations. Sure, a fun game is a fun game, but if it falls to the studio to create their own addition to this legendary series, I'm not so confident it'll be worthy. By all means, though, let them do more remakes. Crash Insane Racing, a Spyro Reflamed trilogy. Reflamed, I like that. Gex Reloaded, I'd be way down. We'll have to wait and see.
Do you like reflamed? That's not even a term.
I mean, insane, I guess insane is a term, but I just like that he had one.
Like what? We're gonna go reflame the fireplace?
Yeah, I guess you would fan the flame, refan. I don't know.
Though, to the spirit of that message, I actually kind of agree. I think that there is some style lost between the originals to the remakes.
Sure.
And I'm kind of on board with that. I get what you're saying.
Reignited, Steven. I knew there would be one. Enflamed. Enflamed is good. Enflamed.
Enflamed is great. Reignited is really good.
Jordan Kirk. With all the buzz surrounding the Insane trilogy.
Sorry. That's Sophie on the mic stand. We'll move it back a little bit. All right.
Sophie on the mic!
Sophie on the mic!
Yeah, right, what do you got on your face? Get that off your face. What are you doing?
Spiderwebs on her face.
With all the buzz around the Insane Trilogy, I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in and say I would absolutely love a Spyro Original Trilogy remake in a similar vein. I love the silly quips, the great platforming, the music, and the general collectathon that Ripto's Rage and Year of the Dragon became. In fact, by the time you read this, I will probably have dug my PS3 out and 100%ed 1 or 3 of all of them. LOL. Towards the end of the month, I also managed to hit another Resogun personal milestone. I managed to complete a round of survival mode and come in at number 1 on the live monthly leaderboard. Granted, the board refreshed about an hour prior to that run, but still! I even managed to snag a screenshot of my triumph, no matter how minutely temporary it was. That's something I've never thought about, but like having a game have a platinum or a trophy or an achievement tied to a leaderboard and waiting like years, you know, for people to just kind of die out and stop playing. And you're like, all right, now I'm going to try it.
Now's my chance.
Yep.
Cool to still be playing Resogun and perfecting your game.
Jesse Vitelli. Coming back, Splatoon 2 has instilled a childlike wonder in me. Having not played the first game, I am entirely enthralled with its style and fun-loving nature. What a jolly time, and a great pick for any Switch owner. Nice. Good sell. Michael Favacci, podcast sponsor. Regardless of of my now comically large backlog of great games, August is going to belong to Sega. Both Sonic Mania and Yakuza Kiwami are releasing this month, and there is just something about the thought of playing a new classic-style Sonic game in the heat of the summer that takes me back and reminds me of the best gaming memories of my childhood. I am fully ready to embrace both Sega's New Dragon and Old Hedgehog. Sega still does what Nintendo don't. He's poking you.
The only thing I'm going to object with, I'm going to say it's the Old Dragon, New Hedgehog.
Oh. Yeah, okay. All right. Chom Nguyen. July had some awesome sales on the PS Store, and I bought a few games there, even if I don't usually buy digital, if there's a physical copy available, but the prices were too good to miss. One of the games was Yakuza 0, and that game is amazing even with its weirdness. So many references, cameos with alternated names, and things that happened in side stories just felt good most of the time. Main story was great, and felt really emotional, especially during Majima's story. I'm really glad I got to experience this gem that Hubert and Ben have been so vocal about for a while, and pre-ordered Kiwami before I finished the game. It seriously is that good. Thank you, allies. Love and respect, Tearju Ingi.
Let me ask you something, Jones. Do you feel pressure to play Zero?
I have played Zero. I streamed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say pressure. I wouldn't say that's in the pressure camp. I feel a pressure to play Persona 5. Yeah. I definitely feel a pressure to play more of that game. I legitimately want to play more of a Yakuza game. You know, I'm kind of waiting for 6. Okay. You know, because it's after seeing the trailer for 6, it's like it's hard to go back to the old engine. You know, like just seeing like how good that is and like how all this stuff is built up, and especially this year, like having read all these comments, having talked to Ben and Huber about Yakuza so much, have these 2 games, the trailer now for Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is Yakuza 2 remake, right? And
yes.
then
on the 6th engine.
Here, like playing Yakuza 0 and then learning like, all of this stuff builds up to this betrayal that happens in the first Yakuza game. Interesting. And then Kiwami comes out and now I'm like experiencing the story of Yakuza 1 and then seeing all this stuff built up and getting familiarized with these characters. Playing 6 and just playing this big kind of culmination of all of that. I think that'll be a huge win.
Just cut to the chase.
Also, every community comments video has at least one Yakuza comment every time.
Yeah, it's cool.
Xylo Wolfbane. This year was already awesome for games, and now 2018 will be a year with a new Dragon Quest, a new Monster Hunter, and a new Dragon Ball Z fighting game. What a year it's already shaping up to be. And I'd say we're all pretty still hyped for all of that stuff. Monster Hunter especially. That's going to be great. Alex Castellanos. I was planning on catching up on some backlog games in July, but work ended up being exceptionally busy, and as a result, I just haven't played all that much. However, I am planning on taking some time in August to play 2 of my most anticipated summer games, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and Everybody's Golf. Let's hope I don't get stuck in the office as often this next month. I hope you didn't. We'll see. See what the update. I want the Castellanos work update.
Yeah, do we know what the job is?
Do not.
Okay.
I do not recall.
All right. Get stuck in the office.
Carl Williams, July has come and gone, but I just wanted to say that after having one hell of a busy week a few weeks ago, it was nice to just kick back and relax and watch some people play multiple fighting games. Although my time invested in this year's Evo was low compared to previous years, I still had fun spending my Sunday watching almost all of the top 8 matchups. Sophie, you're killing me. I love you. I love you so much. You're my favorite. You're
it seems intentional.
Favorite.
Sophie on the mic.
Yeah. Welcome back to Sophie on the Mic. Although my time invested in this year's Evo was low compared to previous years, I still had fun spending my Sunday watching almost all the top 8 matchups. I hope to attend this year's Evo to bring plenty of hype and salt in person.
Jones, I think you would like Evo.
I'm sure I would.
Yeah, I think you would get into it.
I would love to help, like, produce Evo. You know what I mean? Like, Evo's the kind of thing that I want more money put into, you know? Like, I want that to be... I want Evo to be... I know it's a big deal, but, like, I really want it to be kind of similar to, like, when E3 comes around and I'm excited to hear, like Eyewitness News talk about games.
Yeah.
You know, for us, like, the industry finally to be relevant across the board, I would love Evo to be that within the game industry. So it's just, like, every time it comes.
Yeah.
And that might seem unfair. I think that's one of the things, too, that's kind of... When I think about Evo, and I'm like, is it unfair for one competition to be the best, for us to have that, you know, because like I know the Game Awards isn't like the Oscars of games. We have DICE, we have, you know, like Canada has their own video games thing.
It's the Oscars.
Sure, like different countries have their own, like, you know, gaming awards. But like I just love if Evo was the thing, you know, like, and got bigger, you know, because I know it's all selected, like what games are going to be. It's like I wish it wasn't so, you know, they'd have to cut it off so harsh so they could have more games. It could be longer. It's exciting. It's something I always miss. It's something I always like whenever we have that podcast. You're like, so Evo was this weekend. I'm like, what? Ah! Missed it. Aaron Lowe, also known as Temjin Zero, finally made the switch, starting up Breath of the Wild at long last. End comment. Another name I'm happy I know how to pronounce. Randy Verschuren, playing Persona 5 New Game Plus, trying to 100% without a guide. Will do New Game Plus with a guide if I fail. My wallet is hiding in the basement. So many games, but mostly so little time.
Don't do it without a guide. Randy, I hope...
Don't do New Game Plus, or don't play the game at all without a guide?
Like, if your goal is to 100% it, I would...
Oh, yeah.
Because the game's all about, like, managing your time and
it's a lot to ask
optimizing your
of yourself,
days.
yeah.
I don't know. It stresses me out, the idea of it.
Does Persona 5 in general stress you out? Because we're talking about Persona 5 right now. We're getting into it.
It does.
It's a Persona 5 moment, everybody. Prepare yourselves. Sophia Norwich. Hey, allies. This summer I've been playing to catch up on the plethora of games I purchased over the year. Right now I'm on Persona 5. Later on it will be Neo, The Surge. And I still need the true ending in Nier Automata. Anyway,
what's The Surge?
I think it's a free-to-play game. Like a survival, post-apocalyptic type game. Don't know. That is a long shot. I do not know.
I actually don't know The Surge. Let us know.
Anyways, I may become hated for this, but I am having very mixed feelings about Persona 5. Is it just me, or does the game become redundant? Too often there are dialogue breaks that just repeat information that was already presented to me. Also, and way more obnoxious in my book, is the sheer amount of repeated battle dialogue. If I hear Morgana say, "It's almost scary how good I am," just one more time, I'm gonna snap.
It's almost scary how good I am. It says it like that, too.
Yeah. Few reviews seem to address this tidbit. If I exploit an enemy's weakness, there's no need for a character to say the exact same line each time. Usually I hear it 3 to 5 times in a row, and sometimes up to 10 times in a single fight. What gives? My partner has been watching me play this game, and she's just as annoyed by it as me. It seems like we're the only two people that this bothers. I think it's one of those things, yeah, that kind of fits the genre. Like, if you're kind of jumping into Persona 5, like, I think that's true of Persona 4, Persona 3. A lot of them Japanese role-playing games.
No, that's Morgana. That's all on Morgana.
That's just Morgana?
Yeah. Just like, and you're so beautiful, like, every single time.
Do you know what Morgana line actually bugged me the most for my playthrough of Persona? Was there was a point where they kept stopping me to teach me things. We were, like, going through the thing, and, like, it's like, okay, let's open the door, and then we'd stop. And then, like, okay, here's the use this mechanic. And then, oh, look, there's an enemy, stop. And then we'd have a conversation about it, and then we'd get an next from stop, and then they'd talk about something else. Mm-hmm. And every time she'd stop, she'd go, "Aww." And I'm like, be quiet. You know, like, don't do that in a tutorial. Oh, we can't keep playing the game more? It's like, don't say that. Like, don't make me, don't. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sad that the game just paused. Don't accentuate that.
The Surge was the weird Souls game where you have the exosuit armor that, like, kind of like what Tom Cruise has in Live, Die, Repeat.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was The Surge. Do you remember that game? It was like a sci-fi Dark Souls, like, esque game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love that because you just totally forget about a game like that.
This gear is too much.
Yeah.
Too much this year. Confused Hulk. This is a feel-good comment directed mostly at Ben Moore. Thank you for so staunchly recommending Persona 5. As someone with no experience with the series and little to no experience with anime, turn-based combat, or even RPGs, Persona 5 was always something I felt alienated from, but in reality, it's a game that welcomes the player with open arms and fearlessly puts itself out there, traits shared by the characters within it. Ironically, I have no single friend who has seen the game who hasn't been immediately turned off by or snickered at it, just as I did, and I completed the game with 146 hours logged. I saw clearly its astonishing melding of form and function. We hear a lot these days about how not to judge a book by its cover, but this game lives and breathes that motto, not just with its story and characters, but with its decision to stand up and brazenly invite that judgment. And that's precisely why playing the game was such a profound experience. So I'm grateful for Ben, allies, and everyone who hyped up a game that, to hype up, immediately invites judgment from some. It may all seem safe to recommend inside this amazing community, but it's a savage world out there, so thank you for being an oasis in the desert. Love and respect. Just good writers, man. Yeah. These are really great comments. Like, I love you have a line like, but its decision to stand up and brazenly invite that judgment. It's just like, yeah, that's good review talk right there.
Confused Hulk. Like, that's some good stuff from Confused Hulk.
Yeah.
Whose avatar is, like, the Hulk.
Nice.
And so, yeah, you kind of expect, like, Persona vibe. Like,
like Film Crit Hulk.
Yeah.
Morgana talk too much. Alexander Ziranov. I haven't written about Horizon Zero Dawn back in March to see if my impressions hold up. Oop, I'm not sure what that means. Today I can say without any doubts the game is amazing. And while I can say many great things about Horizon's incredible combat, I want to focus on a less praised aspect of the game, its story, which Kyle and I both like.
Yeah.
Firstly, Horizon's story is a really great pace. The world and its mysteries, important characters, your goal and motivation are introduced both quickly and detailed enough to make you wanting to continue the journey. Then, right when a full map opens up, the story slows down, which gives you opportunity to explore the world and do side activities without feeling guilty for not doing something immediate and important. And then, when you finally return to finish the main quest, it still manages to surprise by taking you to some unique places and telling unexpected and a quite emotional story. Secondly, there are many optional journals and voice logs. They are not essential for the main plot, but they provide you with many small details that greatly broadens and enriches your understanding of past events. So no matter how much time you spend reading and listening to these side stories, you'll feel neither missing out nor wasting time. And lastly, Horizon Zero Dawn manages to really pull off a hard thing. It sets up many conflicts and tasks for future games, and at the same time, it tells a story that feels substantial and complete. It's a shame that side quests aren't as good as the main plot, I agree, but still Horizon Zero Dawn is one of the best new IPs of this generation. Yeah, one of the best new IPs?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of like new IPs we've gotten this year. I think that definitely stands tall. And I was affirmed, you know? Like, here's this new IP, clearly they're putting like a lot of money into it. I remember like the Horizon section at PSX before it came out, I was like, whoa, Sony. Like, it was just like, Horizon. Like, that awesome like suit that they had walking around all the press conferences at like E3 and PAX, where like the person was actually in the walker
the dino suit. Yeah.
I think they're called stalkers in the game. Like that thing I started seeing 2 years before the game came out. Like, they just pumped so much money into this. So there's just always that fear, like, is this gonna suck? You know, is this something that they're trying to overcompensate by just really getting it in everybody's head and then playing it and being like, oh, it's awesome. And especially for a new IP, boy, do I want a sequel to that game. Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna be so hyped when that sequel's announced.
Jones, that DLC chapter that takes place after the story is coming soon.
But you know, DLC. So there's that part of me that's like, is that 2 hours long? You know,
it's like 2 hours long.
Yeah,
that's
should
what
be fun
now. I want 2 more hours.
Yeah, you're good. I need a good like 6. I need a good 5, 6, okay. Especially if I'm gonna like get back into that game. I beat another great pick, Cesar Villa. I beat. Is it Caesar or Cesar?
He's corrected me. It's just regular Caesar.
Just Caesar, great.
Yep.
Caesar Villa. I beat Zero Time Dilemma earlier today. I've been eager to talk about it all day. Well, I'm sorry that we got to October before we talked about you talking about it. The post gathering, the community comments for July could have not come at a better time. Ben and Elise are the ones I have to blame who put the series on the map for me. I didn't know Elise was a Zero Time Dilemma fan. I remember they did a Just Played on 999 back in the GT days, and they painted an intriguing enough picture for me to buy the game. It took me a while to get it, and a longer one to actually get into it, and what it was trying to do. But in the end, I loved the game and wanted more. Fortunately, more was already out. Not long after I played 999, I started the sequel, Virtue's Last Reward, and man oh man, was I in for a treat. It is definitely the best in the series, and one of the best games I have ever had the pleasure of playing. It's a shame that its genius cannot be discussed freely without spoiling the game. After that, only Zero Time Dilemma was left. I remember when it first came out and the EZA review was up, many people were pointing out that it was weird it got a 4-star grade after most of the video just stated all its problems. Let me tell you, after playing it and noticing so many of the flaws myself, and even more, giving it 4 stars was being cautious. The story and its unique way of taking advantage of the medium is just excellent. My jaw still hurts because of how hard it hit the floor at a plot point. See, that's a little too much. That's the kind of language we don't do in reviews. Good for community comments. But
you just said it's too much.
It's because it's jokey. It's like, oh, his jaw. I was thinking his jaw hurts because of how, I don't know. I was just like, because of how much he was smiling. It's like, oh, I could see you smiling a lot.
All right, no. Think of being Caesar right now.
Yeah.
Something just shattered your mind. Something like surprised you so much. He's just trying to communicate how shocking that is.
Right. I'm saying that's a good language for community comments.
Okay.
There's just different types of language.
All right.
That's it. If any of you allies are curious about these games, give them a chance. They are worth it. Thank you, Caesar, for... I love these. I love just bringing up a game I'm not thinking about.
Sure.
Awareness is what the community comments / showcase is all about. We still have some pages, just letting you know. We still... I don't know if you're comfortable, Kyle.
Oh, I was worried we didn't have enough pages left.
We got them.
Okay.
Whit Fesmeyer. Honestly, this has been a summer of indies for me. My favorite experiences have been with indie games over the summer: Rogue Legacy, Pyre, Little Nightmares, Night in the Woods, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Fallen Legion, to name a few. Similarly, the upcoming games I'm looking forward to are Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Matterfall, Undertale for PS4, Last Day of June, and Abduction for PS4. Last Day of June is very high on my backlog. On the AAA front, I plan on going back and playing Persona 5 and Nier Automata, as well as picking up Uncharted Lost Legacy and Wolfenstein 2. Good luck,
Can you
Whit.
hand me the stack? I thought we needed an update from Whit. I think okay. Whit had something that we were very curious about.
Uh-oh. Pokey Clyde, I'm playing Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth.
Yeah, baby, Pokey Clyde.
Readily making my way to Justimon, my favorite Digimon. I'm also waiting for the onslaught of fall games. My wallet weeps in anticipation. Favorite Digimon?
Not Justimon. Oh, mine? It's Garbagemon.
Marvin and the garbage Pokemon is Huber's favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
I've been currently working on Marvin Lee. I've been currently working on Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. Anima Grinding. Anima Grinding?
Wait, sorry?
That's a game. Well, Anima Grinding.
No.
Anima Grinding. Do you maybe say I wonder if he's meant to say anime grinding because he's catching up on a bunch of animes. But I don't know if you would necessarily say you're grinding an anime, and the grinding is capital G. So I think Anima Grinding is a video game.
Anima is a weapon. Oh, Anima might be a weapon, just like...
Anima Grinding, capital A, capital G. Put in between Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood, which he put the, which you put the semicolon in there, and Tales of Berseria, which also has the caps. So I think that's a game name.
No, chat confirms. Anima's a weapon.
Oh.
Anima grinding is a thing you can do in Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh, so yeah, grinding. So he put that like it's an episode of a show. Like that's like
okay.
Anima Grinding is his own. Might as well be a game itself. Is what Marvin's basically telling us. My backlog has increased quite a bit over the course of the year, with many games bought but never played, and figured it was time to start crossing off the list. I'm sure a lot of the EZA staff can relate. I'm also an avid platinum trophy hunter, so I'm sure that it doesn't help my cause very much. Very much. Excited about that Marvin update. Noel chimes back in. Can't talk. Need to play Final Fantasy XIV. Anna Lucia Stone. I'm embroiled in Waking Titan, though I missed the latest related live stream due to being embroiled in other adventures. Haha. No matter though, I've caught up, but still, I would love to know if any of the many involved are here as well. Or not? Either or. Happy gaming. Waking Titan. Happy gaming. So
this is another one. You help us with this.
Sounds like an anime, but
this sounds like there's some coded language in that one.
Yeah, Waking Titan.
And like people are involved. Haha. Like are you and I involved in Waking Titan?
I don't know. Was Waking Titan a tabletop arc?
It wasn't. Chat. What does Waking Titan mean?
I don't know.
Waking Titan was the thing with No Man's Sky. Thank you, chat. Whew.
Oh, cool. Injustice, Kyle Lee. Injustice 2 has a very good shot at being my goatee. By adding elements from RPGs and car customization with the gear system, it has become an addiction for me. In the past, I enjoyed fighting games but never became fully immersed, because most of the time, the motivation had to be completely self-created. I wanted to make the coolest looking characters, so that's pushing me to get better at the game so I can level up. Will something come along to knock it off its pedestal? Persona 5 might be the one to do it.
Whoa.
Tim Beshin. So, I finally managed to play and finish Fire Emblem Awakening, and it was amazing. What a thrill ride, and barely made it to the end. The other game I'm playing is Luigi's Mansion 2, and it is such a clever and charming game. The mansions are so detailed that everything is changing and clanging and changing and shifting, clanging and shifting.
Show me.
When you try to poltergust them.
Yeah.
Clanging?
Yeah, clanging.
Yeah. If you missed it, try it. Oh yeah, clanging because it's the objects
and just yeah.
You cold?
They wanted to see it. You have Colossus on your blanket, dude.
I do. I got Storm on there, and I think Rogue's on there, and certainly Cyclops.
I got.
Oh, who's the guy? Who is this? Oh, who is this? Everybody.
And Nightcrawler 2.
He was in. They put him in Apocalypse for like a hot second. He was in like the future.
Oh, this guy with the bandana.
He didn't survive Apocalypse. No, it wasn't Apocalypse. It was the one before Apocalypse, where they changed the future. The Days of Future Past. He was in that one.
Who is Bandana Man?
He was the Native American fellow. I do not remember his name. It's actually killing me. I gotta maybe hopefully chat. Yeah.
We are in the garage, by the way.
We're definitely in the garage. Thunderbird? No, Thunderbird doesn't sound right. Definitely wasn't Thunderbird. Maybe it was. Tim Beshin, yeah. Oh, yep, okay. Yeah, if you missed Luigi's Mansion 2, give it a shot. Nobody knows. Okay. Icon Master. Well, I've been enjoying the Trails of the Sword. Oh, no,
we got it. It's Warpath.
Warpath. There it was.
Thank you, chat.
I've been enjoying the Trials of the Sword in Breath of the Wild. Not Trails in the Sky. Trials of the Sword. I have to give the July nod to, bear with me, Microsoft Solitaire Collection for mobile devices.
Next comment.
This is it, Kyle. I wait for these, man. I wait for these. These are the best. I never want. They're like picking children. I never want to pick one comment over the other. But boy, these are just gems. I love it. I can't wait. I'm salivating. I'm on the edge of my seat. My goal is to break 10,000 points on every difficulty in 3-card solvable deck Klondike. So far, I've managed it for medium, hard, and expert. Master is tantalizingly close with a 9,000 point top score. Then finally, Grandmaster looms beyond that. I'm sorry, but you did ask.
It's actually interesting to know that Solitaire puts goals and things in there and actually makes challenging decks, like pre-establishes those decks. Wow. It is interesting.
But I mean, it's striving for a point score. You can sympathize with that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Outcast writer Aaron Schlegel. I don't know if Outcast Writer is on Twitch, but I've always been curious because people frame their names differently on Patreon, so I never know what to call them. Like some people will put their real name and then in parentheses their Twitch name or the name people like their tag that people will probably know them for. Mm-hmm. But I would think I'm split both ways. It's like, do they want the tag because that's how people will most easily recognize them, or is it good now that they're on Patreon? They're like, but I should put my real name on Patreon. People should know my real name now. Or both, or what? I don't know. Because I've said some. Well, I know, but it's just I have to keep a chart of everybody.
No. I say just put it in the comments itself. If you don't like the one that's on Patreon,
I've yet to like formalize that. I basically tell people like do it this way, and then we'll understand, and we'll.
Jones, apparently that is not Warpath, but it is Thunderbird. Warpath is Thunderbird's brother.
So okay. Okay. So Thunderbird on the blanket, Warpath in the movie.
Sure.
So I made the because the X-Men
They're brothers. They're brothers.
Okay, X-Men in the comics look very different from X-Men in the films. So
all that black
except for like one or two. Outcast Writer, because I love Outcast Writer. I think it's a great name, and it's just so recognizable. I remember Huber saying a few months back that he wouldn't play certain games unless he had 2 to 3 hours to commit to a play session, because anything shorter wouldn't allow him to get lost and invested in the world of the game. Mm-hmm. I must say that I finally had that experience. It came about when I was playing Fire Emblem Fates. I felt like I couldn't adequately enjoy the characters, environments, and story unless I had the time to really sink into it. I'm glad I had that experience, and thank you, Huber, for making me realize it's okay to wait until you can have that immersive experience. How immersive was your experience with Fire Emblem Fates?
Most of the time, like simultaneous. Any 3DS game I'm usually playing or watching TV or something at the same time. So minimally immersive.
Tim Strothman. Tim. I've corrected Ben on that a couple times, and he still makes that mistake.
Yeah,
Tim.
It's like Thomas.
This month I started my first playthrough of Dragon Age Inquisition, a game that's always burned me because I played 1 and 2 several times. Mm-hmm. And completely skipped Inquisition. Didn't touch it.
It was like a 20-hour game for me. I put in my 20 hours and I was like, okay, I'm good.
But I've always lamented not going back and playing that. Especially because we don't know when we're getting another one. Naturally, I have not finished it, so I'm holding off my thoughts until at least the end of August. Instead, I want to highlight a game that occupied my time for a rainy Saturday, and I love this, called Cluster Truck.
Have you seen Cluster Truck?
I love Cluster Truck.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I never streamed it, and we never did anything with it. I just... I love that game. That game is just so... It gets itself. It gets me. The pacing of the game and the soundtrack are just marvelous. Jumping from one truck to another while gaining speed is just a great feeling that intensifies while the levels get harder and harder. The abilities that one can unlock are varied and dramatically change how you play the game and solve the levels. Most importantly, even though the failure to success rate is Super Meat Boy-like on later levels, failing is always clearly the fault of the player, and since restarting is only one button press, one easily gets the just one more try urge that pushes you to a perfection. I really want to encourage people to give it a try. I do too, since sometimes you just need a game in which from jumping to truck is the main goal. The thing I like about Cluster Truck is it kind of reminds me of Guitar Hero, where it's a little bit getting better and it's a little bit memorization. You know, so it's a little bit like you get into a level and you're like, all right, I remember that jump where they all go off the cliff at that one point. But you also got to get better. You also just have to have this like innate ability where like there were some times where I'd be like, whoa, I survived that. I don't know how the hell I did. You know, clearly I'm skilled, I guess, because I got through it. But like, I mean, that was just like super tense, like, because it's just, there's those moments where you have that little tiny thing in Mario where like Mario lands on it and you nailed the jump, but you just jump right off and kill yourself because you're like, ah, you're just like so nervous. And it's that the entire game. It's all built on that. Miguel Rivas. I happily save-scummed my way through Final Fantasy on the Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition with an online guide.
Nice.
Save-scumming and online guide. Well done. To make that's one thing I've always thought was hilarious about Final Fantasy, is that every time they re-release it, they never make it easier to understand. That first game, when it got ported to like PSP and PlayStation and iOS, I was like, this is the time they're gonna have the version where they're just gonna tell me where to go. They're just gonna have like waypoints. I'm like, nope. Every time they're just like, yeah, we'll update all the graphics, but not the fact that you'll like inevitably. And I've beaten that game so many times, and every time I play it, I'm like, what do I do now? I don't know. You know. Because the NES stage, like, they'll just wander around and find it.
Yeah.
But now, like, I don't got time. To make things worse, it was my first run at that game. I mean, the game is old. It was great to go back and just enjoy this piece of gaming history. I would not have gone through Final Fantasy without the restore point, seeing as how I did not want to lose hours of progress after a death. Yeah, there we go. The game mechanics leave other games like Final Fantasy XIII with a lot to learn from. There's a lot of freedom in how you complete the game, with some objectives needing to be completed before other ones. Your party composition changes the way you go about the campaign, which makes this game very replayable. Your party takes damage every time the player steps on ice or lava while navigating a dungeon. Each dungeon is creative and has great puzzle elements to them. Grinding is a necessity due to the spikes in difficulty. The game does not tell you item stats, and you only learn who can equip weapons and armor once you buy them and try to have party members try them on. There are two types of magic. The player can only learn their type of magic, is unable to learn any spell from the other type of magic. The player can learn both types of magic, cannot learn the most powerful versions of either type of magic. Players can only learn 3 of the 4 magic spells available at every magic level, which is brutal. When you get 3 and then you go to get the 4th one, you're like, no, you just have, and you can't well, I'll replace it with that one. It's like, no.
Oh.
Players, there are so many other interesting notes to mention, but I omitted them out of brevity. The game is the game is truly deep and rewarding. That being said, Final Fantasy XIII is still my favorite Final Fantasy game.
Which one is?
13, baby!
That's what this says?
13, yeah, 13.
That being said, Final Fantasy XIII is still my favorite Final Fantasy game.
Could be a typo. It could be 12.
No, that's cool.
Could have accidentally hit that,
Yeah, praise lightning.
But again, one of the things that's great about community comments is like, all right then.
Yeah.
Joseph Caruso. Are you sensing the stars here? The reoccurring cast of zany characters?
No, everyone's a star.
That show up. They're all no, I know, but these specifically community comment stars. Those are Twitch, chat stars. We're couch stars. These are the comment stars.
Got it. Yeah.
That's the dog star.
Comment star.
I just want to say how lucky we are that we live in a world where a small group of video game industry enthusiasts can provide reactions and hilarious commentary over video game press conferences to a niche market that can understand and appreciate said commentary. I feel like Easy Allies was created just for people like me. I remember reading future predictions in a late 80s issue of 321 Contact magazine.
There's a magazine.
And one of the predictions was that we would all have personal television channels and advertisements just for our tastes. The many YouTube channels we subscribe to and the internet as a whole is basically that prediction come true, and I'm happy to tune in every single day. It's fun. It's funny to notice things. I love this, and I would love like a whole video series like that just focuses on it. It's one thing to look back at predictions or things that like we talked about back in the 80s. That was July, by the way.
Nice.
That we talked about back in the day that like came true now. But I especially love the things that back in the day they were like, ooh, can you imagine this future chilling? And we like embraced it, you know, like you read 1984 and like Orwell's whole thing is like they're gonna videotape you, and it's like we're videotaping ourselves, you know, and it's like the whole thing. Like they're gonna without your knowledge put a device in your house that will listen to your every word. And it's like, nah, man, I bought it on Amazon last night. It's sweet, you know. It's like we bought that ourselves. So here's us, like he's saying, like you know, like in the future we're all gonna have advertisements geared towards us. Imagine that, you know. And it's like now in our future, it's like we hate that, you know. We're like, no, I don't, get away from me. You know, it's like I don't want that stuff. So it's funny to like we liked it, don't like it.
That's so fun.
We were afraid of it. We love it.
Photographs from like birth to your adulthood. Like, it's crazy.
Like on Twitter, it's like here's my naked baby. It's like, oops.
That's it forever now. Yeah.
That's aliens 5,000 years from now will be like naked baby. The following are comments pulled from the Easy Allies Patreon page among our $10 and above patrons.
Hold on,
they represent what our community...
That's the danger is the aliens?
It's not a danger, it's just going to happen. If you put something on the internet, an alien species will watch that someday.
No, they won't.
Yeah,
the aliens won't care about the naked baby.
I'm not saying they're going to care. It's going to pass by them. You know, they're gonna watch that stream, baby. If people watch us build Gundams, aliens will watch that naked baby. What's up, everybody? If you're just tuning in now to this very long stream, wow, boy, what are we, 2 hours in?
Well, I don't know. I lost track of time.
We started at 12:30, hour and a half.
Okay, cool.
This is a marathon, folks. Sophie has got up and sat down in many different spots. She's doing a stretch. You gonna stretch it out, Soph? Woo! We are reading all of the community comments given to us by our wonderful $10 and above patrons on patreon.com/easyallies for the month of June, July. We're now jumping into August, and then after we'll do September. We are now in October. We are sunsetting with this stream the community comments, which if you do not know, again, is at $10 and above tier. People would write short or long comments talking about stuff that happened that month, games they're excited about. It's a wonderful blend of both, stuff that, is a very popular comment. It's like bouncing off of maybe things that we said on a stream or said on our podcasts, or just being like, hey, Zero Time Dilemma coming at you out of nowhere, curveball.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about this stuff.
Solitaire.
And we're Solitaire, Microsoft Solitaire. Community comments is going to be becoming Community Showcase, which will just open up more opportunities for you to showcase amazing things that you do. You can write us a comment, or you can give us a video, a song, a game, an image, a piece of art that you did, a photograph you took. And we're going to be putting up the post for those submissions next week on patreon.com/easyallies for the Easy Allies Community Showcase. And the first episode of the Community Showcase will go up. The first stream of us doing basically what we're doing right now, going through all of this amazing stuff, will be the first week of November for October, December for November, and so on and so forth.
Cool.
So thank you to everybody that signed up this month for the Easy Allies Community Showcase, that has sent kind words about it, that let us know what they want out of it, and for everybody, obviously, that dropped these comments here for the month of August. Jesse Vitelli, I think it's like the first one. He was thinking it was the first last month, too.
Nice.
Jesse's in it, bam. Everybody's Golf is a game I was so excited for, but never a game that I thought it would consume my friend group.
Nice.
What a wonderfully fun end of summer game to play. Endless fun. That's the best feeling when it absorbs the friend group.
Absolutely.
Like, we could assign that. We could, like, command people, be like, you're playing Destiny 2, you're playing it.
Yeah.
But when it just happens, when we just all play Bloodborne, it's like, yeah.
I think several of us played Everybody's Golf, right?
Oh, yeah. I think just generally across the what was really fun is Greg Miller was really into Everybody's Golf, and he pressured a lot of people to play it, and you could create your own character, and so a lot of people would do a screen grab on PS4 Share and send that to Twitter to Greg and be like, all right, just like a picture of themselves, like in their golfing outfit.
Yeah.
And I love that was the okay, I finally did it. I don't see any. I think we maybe open up the. I don't see any. I don't hear any sawing going on.
I think the sawing has ended. Yeah.
It might have. Let's have this door open for a little bit. We'll see how it goes. August, everybody. Jesse's golfing. Alex Castellanos. There was a good chunk of games that came out in August, but for me, and my rather modest budget, there was only one purchasing choice for me. Everybody's Golf. Hot Shots Golf has always been a series that I've played and adored for years, but recently they've been reduced to more niche segments of the market like PSP and PS Vita.
The first time?
Niche?
I like niche.
The fact that the series came back into console prominence in such a strong way made this a must-play day one purchase, and I'm loving it so far.
Yeah, you know what? It is actually kind of interesting that Sony went for it with this game. They took a long time. I think it was announced like 2 years ago. And it is cool that I think it was a relative success, even at its $40 price point.
Yeah. It's great, too, because it's like, kind of like we're talking about Yakuza. It's like, clearly Yakuza 0 was like a deliberate attempt to be like, okay, we're gonna play ball, and we're gonna get this. We're gonna do everything that this other market outside of our country wants us to do, and we're gonna try to make this land. And everybody's all felt like that. It felt like, oh, this seems like a big deal. This seems like if you've ever been a fan of this franchise, this is the time to maybe jump back in. And who knows if that'll keep going? If we'll get another cool sequel in a couple years. Love this. Here, you read this one from Sophia Norwich.
Here's why. Because everybody paid for their comment to be read by Brandon Jones. However, Sophia, trying to be clever, just puts reserved. That's it. The word reserved. Came in, reserved a space for a comment.
Reserved.
Never filled it in.
So apologies if that's a technical issue with, I don't know if she did and it didn't go, or...
I bet, honestly, it just didn't occur, you know? Just like
we have one coming up, spoilers, we have one coming up that I love, that somebody's like, I wrote a long comment about this game and it got deleted, so I'm not going to write it again, but play it, it's good. It's like, oh, and you gave us $10, you're an amazing human being.
We're sorry that Patreon does that. That sucks.
But we love Patreon, also. Brandon K. Gann, coming back. Over the course of this year, many games have come out where practically everyone has lamented not having enough time to keep up with their growing backlogs. For me, I'm incredibly picky about the games I play. So I've only played 4 and seen a 5th in its entirety that I've cared anything for this year. However, that must kind of feel good. However, the most recent game I've completed kicks off a game a month... However, the most recent game I've completed kicks off a game a month pace, and it being Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. The final Naughty Dog Uncharted was excellent in many aspects, and though not as fantastic as A Thief's End, it was still more than worth the time and price. The dynamic between Chloe and Nadine was different, and over the course of the game grew from strictly a business deal to something a little friendlier, and it was a treat to see them develop. The main villain, Asav, is perhaps my second favorite villain in any Uncharted game, and Chapter 6 forward turns the game from an average story to a compelling narrative.
Ooh.
Are we... Yep.
Watch for spoilers. We're getting there.
My only 2 criticisms are its opening pacing and puzzles. I feel if there was more setup at the start of the game, the introduction to the story, premise, and characters would have been better established. Also, several puzzles were more of a chore when I knew the solution, but getting to it was a hassle. The Lost Legacy pulls from most of the other games in various ways, and the Western Ghats were fun to roam, albeit a little empty, but overall, I can't recommend Lost Legacy enough to Uncharted fans. This is a full game, shorter than the first, and its set pieces are fantastic. Now, I will turn my attention to Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, before Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. This was just 2 months ago, so we're getting into it.
Yeah. I want to hear more about Death of the Outsider.
Yeah. Boy, I'm Dishonored 2, I just missed completely, but I played that at PAX. Jason A. Sackle.
Santa.
Me. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy proved that Naughty Dog doesn't need Nathan Drake to continue the franchise. A fun story, good writing, and a solid cast made this an adventure that was well worth playing through. Playing as Chloe felt completely natural. There was never a moment where I missed Nathan Drake. That isn't to say I didn't enjoy playing as Drake, but instead shows how strong of a character Chloe was. She had a different personality to her. Yes, the quips are there, the set pieces that fall apart as you jump to them are present, and the combat is nothing new, but Chloe as a character herself is fresh. Part of this is due to Naughty Dog's attention to detail. How a character bites her lip, lifts an eyebrow, winces, and even the way her pupils move during a cutscene help let you know that they are thinking and who they are. I don't wish to say too much because there are elements that are fun to come across on their own. Even though Naughty Dog has retired Nathan Drake, this game well proves that the series can go on. If they decide to go that route, I will certainly welcome it. I would love one that stars Sully, though. Why? Because he is Victor Goddamn Sullivan! A short one from Jason Sackle.
Yeah. Sully game would be fun, too.
Sully game would be fun. Surprised I never got a Sully level, just one. All those games? 4 PlayStation games, 1
Is there no
PSP?
Sully level?
Where you control Sully?
Yeah.
I didn't play 3, so I don't know. I didn't finish 2, also. I know. V8 Dave, earlier in this marvelous year, that is 2017, thanks to the Allies, I entered the majesty of the Yakuza series, told you, with Yakuza 0. This month, I am blessed to already be able to continue the saga of Kazuma Kiryu with Kazuma Kiwami. What a story. What excellent side quests. How nice it is to give thugs the beatdown. Thank you, Ben and Huber, for that one. It was a day, let me tell you, when I got the community comment script that did not mention Final Fantasy 15. I was like, we did it! We made it! Because there would be something.
Were they used to be bad? Were they used to be like negative?
No, it just was. I mean.
Okay.
And it was, and it's funny too because Ben puts these together, and I didn't do these in some of the later scripts because actually these bounce around to a lot of different games. But sometimes in community comments there'll be like a big Zelda chunk, a big Horizon chunk, a big Final Fantasy 15 chunk.
Yeah.
And Ben previously was the one who put these scripts together. He won't be doing that moving forward with Community Showcase because I can put those together easily. But I would get the script and be like, oh, look at that, Persona 5 is first. Okay, well, let's get into Persona 5. It's like, I'm going to put that Persona section right there.
Right at the top.
Tim Beshin, while I was waiting for Mario plus Rabbids to finally come out, I went back to Breath of the Wild and fell back in love in an instant. Finally got my Dark Link outfit and found a bunch of shrines. Game of the year for me, at least so far. And now I started M plus R, Mario plus Rabbids, and finished the first world. Really, really like what I've seen so far and looking forward to the rest. Really charming and great looking game. Yeah, can't argue with that. It's good.
It's good.
Xylo Wolfbane, Destiny 2, Yakuza Kiwami, Monster Hunter Stories, and XX. XX?
What is XX?
I don't know. There's a horror film on Netflix called XX, but I don't know what the game XX.
Mom, what's XX?
Monster Hunter Stories and XX. So is it Monster Hunter XX?
Monster Hunter XX. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or Double Cross.
You're no help. Dauntless.
You should have said Double Cross.
Shadow of War, Metroid, Battlefront 2, Dot Hack.
It's not out yet.
There's a new Dot Hack coming?
Not new. It's like a collection. It's a remaster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool.
Because Dot Hack's one of those games I know just from going through the library. That I was like, there's a lot of this Dot Hack stuff going on.
And I think it's pretty cool.
Well, it's an interesting premise. I think that's also kind of what kept it on my radar. Was interesting premise. And that's just the beginning. I need a hyperbolic time chamber, something that comes up in community comments quite frequently. There's just too many awesome games this whole year. It's a good one. Alexander Zironov.
I'm sorry. Before we go into Alexander's, there is a new part to it. They're adding more to the collection.
Wow, nice.
There's a new one in the collection. Very interesting.
Excellent.
New chapter. Thank you, chat.
When I play video games, I know that I play a video game. Even if the story really grabs me, and even if I really enjoy gameplay, I still know that if something goes wrong, I can try again from the last save or checkpoint. That is not the case with Farpoint. The easiest enemy in Farpoint is a little spider. They're slow, walk in a straight line, and die after a couple of bullets. I've quickly stopped considering them a threat. They're just targets for shooting practice. Then, one of the spiders came close enough and jumped. I can't remember the last time I was scared by an in-game monster, but when I saw a spider flying straight into my face, I jumped aside and started spreading bullets around like a panicked girl in horror movies. Later in the game, I saw some flying drones for the first time. I knew nothing about their capabilities, toughness, and firepower, and I've learned my spider lesson the hard way. So I run into hiding and stay in the shadows until they were gone. In any other game, I'd probably decide to test them by fire, but in Farpoint, it was a primal survival instinct. I didn't hide because I was afraid of losing progress. I hid because I was afraid of death itself.
Yeah. Farpoint is totally this game where it'd be like okay as a regular game, but like because it's in VR, it's much more engrossing.
I played through the entirety of Resident Evil 7 4 times. 4 times. And I will not play that game in VR. I know every single scare miles away. I know I know the step. I know the point in the hallway that I will get to when it'll reappear. No.
Does it do Resident Evil thing where you unlock cool weapons for multiple playthroughs?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
And that's why I played it the 4th time, because I thought I was doing the thing the 3rd time.
Yeah.
And I unlocked one of the cool bonuses, but not the one I was trying to get. Like, I missed one of the little bobbleheads. Like, oh, come on!
Yeah.
And because they don't add them up during the game. Like, you can't check it during the game. That, I've gotten 14 out of 16. There's 3 left. Yeah. You don't know how many are left.
Yeah.
So I was going by a guide, and I thought I had it. Like, I was crossing it off as I got them, and missed one for some dumb reason, and knew which one it was. And so the next time, I didn't even check a list. I was like, I know where all of you are.
Whoa.
And got it. That's right.
Well, how long was your last playthrough?
Super fast. That was the last playthrough. Was the one. No. The third tangent. Sorry.
Yeah.
The third playthrough was the super fast one,
yeah.
And I kept the guide on me because I'm like, let me try to get those bobbleheads going through it, and then that playthrough unlocked a really awesome weapon. And so the 4th one was just bobbleheads. It was just me going through just unloading on everything, easiest difficulty,
yeah.
Just I'm just gonna rampage through this game and have fun.
I feel like we should stream that.
I will.
If it's a fast playthrough, dude.
It's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
I still got that Dragon Quest Builders achievement I want to get, where you finish one of the world in 4 hours.
That's not a fast one though. That's not a fast.
It's 4 hours though. It's you know. It's a manageable solo stream. 4 hours.
Yeah, like a trophy stream. That is actually pretty cool.
Continuing with Alexander's comment, of course, when you encounter a difficult section and have to play through it several times to achieve victory, the illusion breaks off. But those moments are rare and far from each other. And standing with the aim controller in hands is so RP that you'll be totally immersed in this alien world in bare minutes. If you have a PSVR, Farpoint is the game you would not want to miss. You have one and you missed it, then you gave me the controller and I haven't played it.
Yeah.
So we both missed
it. It makes me sick to move around in a 3D world.
I thought you were going to say it makes me sick that I did play it.
Oh, no. It gives me the queasy, man.
Yeah, I wonder if I've gotten better at that. I'd be curious to test myself.
Yeah, if you can get... Yeah, okay. You can do it.
Randy Verschuden. The problem is this. Even if we had a hyperbolic time chamber, there still would not be enough time to play all the games with a Z. We need some sort of time machine, or a time-stopping contraption, or even keep up and work on our backlogs. Get to it, EZA. It's on us for some reason. That's our responsibility.
I really don't like time travel, Randy. I don't like messing around with it.
My pick is to not need sleep. Just take that away.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need sleep. I still can sleep. You know, so if I'm on vacation or if I'm kicking back or something, you're like, yeah, sure. Michael Favacci. So I wanted to delve into the mysteries of Persona 5. I wanted to explore the lands of Horizon Zero Dawn. I want to get tossed around by Oni in Neo. Gravity Rushes 2 story mode is calling to me. Tekken 7 subtleties are still a mystery to me. And the refinements of Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, may forever go unnoticed by me. All because I've learned that after all these years, there is still nothing as enthralling to me in video games as running and jumping as a 16-bit blue hedgehog. Thank you, Sonic Mania, for reminding me of this truth. These are great comments where they build and build and build and build and build and build.
Comment. So and also, Sonic Mania is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And again, just so fantastic to have on Switch. It is. Do I always make that mistake? It is on Switch.
It's definitely on Switch.
Okay. There's some game that I think is, but it's not. Cornfan 2007. After my 215 hours into Yakuza 0, I was unsure I would want to jump straight into Kiwami when it launched. Got a great deal on the Steelbook, though. Oof. So couldn't resist. 2 hours in, already loving being back. Such a great series. A friend got Battlefield 1, so I also picked that up, and it was cheap. Really enjoying it. The campaign is well put together and gives you the chance to try out each vehicle and a large section of weapons to prepare you for the multiplayer. The multiplayer is a lot of fun, but it does seem to have the usual problem of most people doing their own thing rather than working with the squad. Requesting orders using just gets me promoted to squad leader so I can do it myself. Alright. Requested orders just gets me promoted to squad leader. I think there was an extra word there.
You know what's crazy is I actually like doing my own stuff in Battlefield.
Ah.
It's one of the things I like about that game.
So you're that jerk.
Yeah, well, the maps are spread out. You can just be a sniper if you want.
That's what I like about Fortnite, because it's co-op, and it kind of encourages that. It balances that really well with you being able to tell, oh, that guy's just off. Okay, got it. You know, you can check the map, and if he's heading in another direction, like, you can go follow him and help out, or just do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Pokey Clyde. Community comments word limit is a good thing, which we never actually enforce, but we will with Community Showcase. And so is Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth.
Oh, that's the whole comment.
Pokey Clyde.
Did you get Justimon? Here's the thing.
Well, he said it's good.
We need a rule.
He said it's good. So yeah,
you
can't just leave us hanging.
You have to tell us what happens.
Kyle, what if you're spending $10 to leave us hanging? What if
yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
What if you write a comment that's like a really good joke or story and it stops? You're like, what? Wait a minute. What? And you like start. Yeah. You start the next comment clearly with a gap that we missed, and you just pick it. We're like, no, I need the context.
Yeah.
Like, you just torture us month to month.
I'm tortured.
Matt McCarthy.
Yeah.
I miss Matt Blair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you miss Matt Blair?
Yeah.
Oh, I miss Matt Blair now because he moved.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's not in LA anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss reviewing NHL. You know, Matt was like the last gasp that we had. Like Shane really loved Madden. Shane was all over Madden every year. Mm-hmm. You know, we had some hockey fans, some soccer fans, and it just at the end of the day, we got Huber with NBA whenever he has time now. But obviously baseball. Oh, Huber loves baseball too. He'll always do the show.
Yeah.
But
and the show comes out at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Like right now, like nobody's gonna review an NHL game, but like Matt Blair totally would. Yeah.
And it was fun. He definitely had some like strong passions. Like I think one of my favorite things about Blair is my office when we first moved to Defy Media was I had a shot at an angle to see his desk and whatever he was working on, and it was great, like, to see that moment of him be like, all right, and I finally posted all that stuff and fixed that on the website, and now to capture this video game for the countdown. And so I think he like really enjoyed those moments of like, yay, I can finally play games. And
Matt Blair was the only person I've ever seen use the remote play. Like he'd be playing his PS4 in the office, so the craziest stuff.
And Blair had the worst job of all of us. Like Blair, we had frustrating times at Viacom and Defy for sure, but nobody did more unforgiving work than Blair. Period. So yeah, I love you, Blair. Liz Castro, with the start of the school year, lesson planning and implementation has severely limited my time for playing video games. We should give some context there. Matt Blair works at Game Trailers, and when we all collected and said, hey, we're going to start Easy Allies, decided to move on to other jobs. And it's actually, like Rohan, like, you know, a lot of the people who used to work with, is doing very exciting things in the industry right now. Is having lots of fun contacts and is crossed over. We're still doing the same stuff that we were doing, but he's crossed over.
We're doing exciting things?
We are doing exciting things, but they're the same exciting things we used to do.
You're like, we haven't graduated yet. Is what it sounds like. You start like we're still in high school.
I intentionally did not say graduated or updated or that it was better.
Okay.
I said they crossed over.
All right.
You know, because it's kind of like in John Wick where he's just like, no, I'm out of the business. You know, it's like I'm playing games for fun now. Leave me alone.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Matt Blair is John Wick for sure, actually.
Matt Blair is definitely John Wick. With the start of the school year, Liz Castro. With the start of the school year, lesson planning and implementation has severely limited my time for playing video games. Liz is a teacher, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Which, again, is such a great perspective.
Yeah.
Her talking to her students about what they're playing, you know, getting, like, Liz, you know, having her kind of ear to the floor.
Yeah.
Ear to the curb, ear to the what? Pavement? Ear to the pavement. With the start of the school year, lesson planning and implementation has severely limited my time for playing video games. On weekends, I'm still diving into Skyrim Special Edition now that I can easily mod it, and I'm looking forward to Labor Day break to play Dream Daddies. As for the winter break, I'm unsure. Although through all the tedium of admin work, frustrations of grading, and exhilaration of lesson planning, I remain jolly listening to Gundam Building, Poke Park Tourneys, and the Easy A podcasts. You all bring me so much joy. Also, Kyle, you're adorable. Adorable.
Jones, why don't you read that part again?
I did. You're adorable.
No.
Adorable.
Oh,
sorry. Adorable.
And then it just runs through the whole thing?
The whole comment?
No, just that last sentence.
Oh, sorry. Also, Kyle, you're adorable. Adorable.
Thank you, Jones.
I thought you really relished that, didn't you? Yes. You normally don't, though. You don't like the attention.
I like that you have to do it.
Oh, the terms. I get
if it was me who had to read it, honestly, I'd probably skip it.
Yeah.
I'd probably skip that if it was me reading it. But like making Jones read that twice,
like if a big fat I love Kyle comment came up in chat, with a resub, you'd be like, oh, somebody.
Yeah, and that's happened. Yeah. How cool, by the way, to have a teacher who's playing Dream Daddy.
Oh, how cool to have a teacher that's like modding an old PC game.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Skyrim is not an old PC game.
Have you ever had a teacher at any point in your education that you think played video games?
Great question, Jones.
Like maybe Game Boy? I could maybe see some of my teachers back in the 80s having a Game Boy, you know, and just be like, oh, it's fun. I like this little puzzle game.
Yeah, but I don't think I did. I don't think I even had that.
If that's like regular for you, if that like happens, we're like, oh yeah, my woodshop teacher, he's got an Xbox One.
Yeah.
Never for us.
But the thing is, I bet they did though. You know what I mean? I bet the teachers keep it a secret. I bet they just don't want to like have to deal with that. You know what I mean? That's really interesting.
Tim Strothman.
Okay.
Who also thinks you're adorable but didn't specifically mention it. I originally intended to write about Dragon Age Inquisition, which I finally finished this month, but I have to talk about the VR gloriousness. Yes, Tim, yes. That is super hot VR. I had not touched my Vive in several months, phonetically pun intended. Touched my Vive in multiple months? Phonetical pun intended. I had not touched my Vive in multiple months.
What is the phonetical
pun? I don't know.
Teach us, Tim.
I had not touched my Vive in multiple months. There's a phonetical pun there, apparently. So I feel so uneducated. This is terrible. So as soon as I found out that the game was finally released for the Vive, I knew I had to give it a shot. This game takes everything that is amazing about the original concept of Super Hot, but cranks it up to 11 by putting it into virtual reality. Yes. I simply cannot describe how badass it feels to dodge bullets that move in slow motion. I'm disappointed in myself that I never just grabbed Huber. And I'm like, Huber, you got to just play this for 5 minutes. Like,
sure.
That Huber would love the shotgun. Oh, boy. simply cannot describe how badass it feels to dodge bullets that move in slow motion, catch guns in midair, and shoot the faceless enemies. I already mentioned it in my community comment concerning Portal Stories VR. It is weirdly satisfying to simply dodge bullets by physically crouching down. Since the movement speed of your own body affects the movement speed of the enemies, it is easy to plan and execute a sequence of evasions and shots worthy of John Wick himself. I'm getting there.
Chat thinks it was probably just a blue joke.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I touched
the vibe. Yeah, I thought it might be some kind of a penis thing. The levels are specifically designed for VR, so even if you have already played Superhot, this is a brand new experience. Playing through the game roughly takes only 2 hours, which is my only major point of criticism. There's so much more though, Tim. I had so much fun that I could easily spend over 10 hours just playing with the mechanics. Anybody who owns a Vive should play the game, period. I didn't discover this until later, but they have like an endless mode that gets just like 20 guys come in the room at the same time, and so you're just like grabbing a gun and shooting a shotgun and throwing it at a guy, and then
So Jones,
crazy.
several people have told me to play this in VR on Twitter as well.
It's incredible, Kyle.
I'm just scared of the queeze, dude. Like, do you get the queeze?
No, because you're still. You don't have to go anywhere. Like and you don't do the teleporting. It manually moves you. Like every challenge, every time it's like I gotta survive this. You're just in this spot, and then when you finally finish it, it goes super hot, and then a little triangle comes up. That when you click the triangle, roll goes away, comes back in, new challenge.
Okay.
So you never have to move.
All right.
It is the furthest. It's the furthest from a potentially queasy VR game.
All right.
And it is so good. This might be hyperbole because I got to think back to to really harness the feeling of me playing like GoldenEye on the 64. But like, I honestly don't think I've ever felt more badass playing a video game ever.
Cool.
That moment where like you finish playing and you're like. That was dumb. I shouldn't have felt that good. Like, I was just being dumb, but it did not feel dumb. Yeah, he's done. Daniel Domantine, brand new person jumping in. This is it. I wrote a really long, elaborate comment on why Hellblade is a brilliant game, and you should definitely play it. Then it disappeared. So play it and find out for yourself.
Sorry, Daniel.
Sorry. Thank you, though, Daniel. And Hellblade is really spectacular. You should check it out. I am bummed I have not yet. That was a little bit of a zeitgeist within the Easy Allies community. A lot of people check that one out.
It's another game on my hard drive.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Too many games. Kevin Hilborn, I have felt a need to go back and settle some old business this month. A friend of mine had recommended that I play Diablo 3 when it came out on PS4 back in 2014. Although I played the opening act, I never progressed further because, as is typically the case, something new came along and grabbed my attention. After a quick visit with my friend at the start of the month, I was reminded of playing that opening act of Diablo 3 while having a conversation about Blizzard, and have made it a point this month to finish it. After several multi-hour-long sessions and completing both the main game and DLC, I can say that Diablo 3 is amazing, and the developers at Blizzard are wizards at making games. That is true. Play what you want to play, everybody. You never know what you might be in the mood for.
Nice.
I can't believe I played as much Skylanders as I have and didn't give more time to Diablo 3. There is only Icon Master.
Hey, play what you want to play.
I know, yeah.
Well, don't feel guilty about it.
I always feel guilty. I feel guilty about everything. There's so many games.
Nah, don't.
It's impossible. Don't. I can't do it.
Okay.
Wait, let me try. Nope.
All right.
Icon Master, there is only one game for me this fall, and that is Samus Returns. My experience with the original Metroid 2 is very limited, so this is for me essentially a brand new 2D Metroid. Did you play Samus Metroid Returns back in the day?
The Game Boy game? No.
Okay. So this is for me essentially a brand new 2D Metroid. I can't wait to melee counter a beastie and unleash an Aeon-powered beam burst into its hide. That's good.
Hide. You got
I can't wait to melee counter a beastie and unleash an Aeon-powered beam burst into its hide. It doesn't matter to me that Nintendo has gated certain features behind Amiibo purchases because I will buy all the Amiibo for this one. All the Amiibo.
Ooh, that comment took a turn.
Oh, whoa. But no, I am actually very proud of Icon Master. Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why? He didn't say Amiibos. That's right. I care about pronunciation. I care about saying words correctly. And I noted like, oh, Nintendo never said never need those.
Yeah. Plural of Amiibo is
Nintendo.
Amiibo.
Oh, it's Nintendo now every time.
Nintendo.
Oh, that meat is so Nintendo. Miguel Rivas. I'm looking forward to the latest Halo Wars 2 DLC. Boy, that's something I've never thought of in my life. Halo Wars 2 DLC.
They added the flood.
Oh, no, that is. Yeah, we did bring that up. And I will consider games that get discounted on Black Friday. I'm in
Why
no
are you
rush
pointing at me?
because I know you love it.
Oh, okay.
I am in no. You and Amanda. Amanda hates it too. I am in no rush to buy games at their full price. I can wait for games I want to get discounted as a result of my gaming backlog going from the 20s to 42. He knows the exact number. 42. Used to be in the 20s. Miguel Rivas' backlog is now 42 in the past year.
Oh.
There's no way. I wonder if he remembers some from like the PS1 era.
Yeah, what I would actually recommend to Miguel is cutting off some games that you will never play. You gotta if you're at 42, you gotta let some go.
What's the cap? What's the backlog cap?
I think 10 is your cap.
Yeah, your realistic cap.
Yeah,
things you're actually gonna want to remind yourself of.
Yeah.
I could see going into the teens because you could have really short games, but I don't know.
Okay.
And also games you could be playing simultaneously. Joseph Caruso, with so many amazing games coming out this fall and so many games still in our backlogs, it can be oddly relieving to look at an upcoming big release and decide you won't be partaking in it. Here we go. Knowing it's one less game that'll have to fight for your limited free time. Destiny 2 was that game for me.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
There's no was. It's Destiny 2 is still a thing. I loathed what I played of Destiny 1.
I loathed what I played.
Wow. I'm just not a fan of most games, with the core focus being repetitive missions for more loot. The mechanics were downright nefarious, being just fun enough not to hate, but not actually being very interesting or developed, which may be the definition of most games based around gambling. And yet, here I am, suddenly having a change of heart, and about to pre-order Destiny 2 on PC. Why? Well, I played the beta on PC with some friends that I met playing Overwatch. Love that. I admit I had fun, but I think that's mostly due to the fact that I was playing with friends who were passionate about the game, even though I wasn't, totally. On the other hand, there are plenty of multiplayer games that I adore, but not enough for my friends to care for, so I almost never get to play them. Sometimes popularity wins over quality, but I can play almost anything as long as I have an excuse to socialize while playing.
Nice.
Case in point, me and Battlefront. If I didn't, and I would still, if you took these friends out, I would still have lots of friends that like Star Wars. But specifically, I have like a core group of friends that I've talked about Star Wars with for decades. And so like, I would, if Battlefront came out, I would play that single player. I'd play multiplayer for 2 nights, a launch night and maybe one other night, and then I'd probably be done. But I will be playing twice, if not 3 times that amount, because I have friends that we all love that stuff.
That's really cool.
Outcast Rider, I want to talk about couch co-op. We're couch co-oping the stream right now. The wonderful childhood pastime of gaming with and against friends together in a living room or bedroom has faded with the advent of the internet. Gone are the days of laughing while getting punched in the shoulder or hitting your friend with the spiny shell in Mario Kart or KOing them in Street Fighter. However, I got a nice blast of the past playing Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars for the Wii.
No, I don't know. I don't know what this is.
I just love... No. First thing, no? I got married in May and found the point-and-click adventure... Oh, yeah. And found the point-and-click adventure a great way to introduce my wife to the wonderful world of gaming as we solved puzzles together in this quirky game. Oh, how I missed playing games with someone next to me. Couch co-op for the win, baby! Interesting, the marriage, then the co-op.
Yeah. Jones, here's the funny thing. We clapped for him getting married. You followed it up with a burp. It was clap, clap, clap. And then get like, okay, let's do this.
Back to my beautiful wife. Hey, man, how many times have I burped? I've been talking for over 2 hours.
That's good. You're right. Yeah. You're doing a lot more talking than I have to do.
I will make the next one far more pronounced. But interesting that the gaming didn't come. Yeah. That they knew they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together, but he waited.
Yeah.
Maybe now they put the ring on. Okay, now we'll try co-op.
What a pick. Broken Sword what for Wii?
Shadow of the Templars
for the Wii.
Yeah, cool. A lot going on there. Something of the Templars and Shadow of the Something are very common subnames to attach to games. Garrett Hull... Even Assassin's Creed doesn't have Templars anymore. Garrett Hullfish. This comment is less about what I'm playing and more about what my girlfriend is playing. Oh, we had a nice little lovey-dovey pairing here of comments. Last November, she expressed interest in Overwatch, seemingly out of nowhere. After watching her struggle, it's that Blizzard magic. After watching her struggle to operate the camera in Firewatch, I was worried the fast-paced shooting would be too much for her. During a free weekend, I downloaded it onto my laptop so she could give it a go. Despite not playing a first-person shooter since the original Doom, she quickly picked up the controls and became effective in her team.
Nice.
Hopefully she was a healer. However, sometimes when she played, she was met with embarrassment from other players. As time went on, the bad attitude seemed to grow within the Overwatch community. Luckily, just a few weeks ago, she met a team that was the complete opposite. Maybe it was the fact that some were in their 60s. But it was remarkable how they treated her with so much love and respect. They taught her more advanced tactics and invited her to join their group as a frequent team member. Multiplayer games were something I could never understand, but with such kindness, finally made it click. She returns to Overwatch to play with that team. Win or lose, if it's friends she's playing with, she's gonna have a good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to play with some Overwatch players in their 60s.
I'd love to play with anybody in their 60s, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the Pokemon with the old people looking at Pokemon for the first time?
No.
Look that up on YouTube.
Oh, is this a Reacts video?
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch that.
Okay. I watched it because it was on Twitter, and somebody put subtitles in a GIF, and they said, I've never been so immediately attached to a woman. Okay. And they showed Charmander. Yeah. And she said, oh, he's very important. And they showed the evolutions, and then by the time I got to Charizard, she was like, what a creature.
Yeah, he's very important.
Oh. He's very important. Andreas Johnson. Johnson?
Yeah,
he's got the two dots.
Yeah,
Andreas Johnson. Just finished the first episode of Life is Strange Before the Storm, and we've gone through a whole Life is Strange journey here on the community comment send-off, and thoroughly enjoyed every moment of it. The two games I keep coming back to is StarCraft 2's co-op missions with my brother, which we never did. Or no, the StarCraft 1 had the co-op, that stream with Huber. You still got to do that.
I downloaded the mod. Yeah, it's empty. StarCraft Remastered is empty.
Ugh. And ever since Titanfall 2 added Frontier Defense, it's something I just cannot stop playing. It's keeping me from playing Stormblood. Uh-oh. Shuriken, who's got a cool way to spell Shuriken. S-H-U-R-I-K-K-I-N. Shuriken. After the much-needed gaming cooldown of the summer months, August felt like a resurgence in the industry, kicking off strong with Senua's dark descent into madness and Ninja Theory's sensational Hellblade, and wrapping up with an incredible Uncharted title, most certainly worthy of the series' beloved lineage. But the ultimate highlight from myself came in the month's closing days with the announcement of the Yakuza team's endeavor to bring life back into the dormant Hokuto no Ken franchise, honoring the epic saga of Kenshiro. The Hokuto no Ken franchise.
Do you know what that is?
Honoring the epic saga of Kenshiro.
Do you know what we call that in the States?
I don't.
Fist of the North Star.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Truly a match made in the heavens. Nice. Thanks, Kyle. Context. He beat you, chat. Diggles. Yakuza Kiwami shall be my next adventure. This delay, it's not their fault.
I know, the poor chat. They're trying. Look, they're like trying.
Sorry. Diggles. Yakuza Kiwami shall be my next adventure once I get Persona 5 out of the way. On the PC front, my beloved Football Manager 18 career shall begin.
Diggles. Cool.
I love random shoutouts like that. Football
cool.
Manager 18. There are people every year that drop in. What if they had Pokemon
no.
Gym Manager?
No.
Okay.
I'm not playing that.
I just said Pokemon. Nah. Uh-uh. Okay.
Well, I know where you're going. It was going to be a something manager, right?
Yeah, trainer manager. You got the trainers come in and they learn and like even when they take care of them. When you go to that the farm where they manage them and you go in the back and they all got their little cubby holes. You know,
Here's what
you
I
go
would
up to the
play.
fence and you see them. They're feeding them. And
I would play Team Rocket Manager. Where like you have to distribute your grunts. Yeah, because I think that's the only way to make an interesting twist that would be more fun than actually playing.
Sure.
Game. Yeah.
And you have to think up. Like the beginning, you have to decide why you're pissed. Why, what your dumb excuse is.
Yeah.
So you see your guys around town, like the little like bubbles that pop up. They're just like, we don't like the sun. And you're like, what? Like, we don't like eating food.
Wow. That's so much like what in later games the teams become.
Yeah.
Jones.
I played 2 of them now.
Yeah.
With all the amazing games coming out, I still ended up playing something that had been sitting on my shelf since 2015, Story of Seasons. I wanted to scratch that farming simulator itch, and with my Stardew Valley still not out for the Switch, it is now, baby, I sunk 100 plus hours into tending my farm and caring for my animals on the 3DS instead. Brittany Fuller said this, I don't know if I mentioned that.
I don't think you did.
Sometimes you just need to keep frantic lists of crops to grow, requests to complete, and sink into the repetition of a farm life routine. I know what you mean. What could be more appropriate for the end of summer than that? Sam, also 31007 in parentheses. Sonic Mania completely obliterated my expectations. Since 2011, my excitement for Sonic games has steadily diminished with each title that released after Sonic Generations. When Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric came out a couple years ago, I practically gave up all hope that I'd ever be interested in a Sonic game again. Then, Sonic Mania was announced. While I initially was excited for the game, I didn't really have a lasting hype for it. Plus, the delayed release until late summer further lowered my enthusiasm. But then, that fateful Tuesday morning arrived. Just after midnight, my download finished, and I dove headfirst into what has honestly become one of my favorite games ever made. Whoa. Sonic Mania's music, level design, and overall creativity is incredible. It can't be understated just how magical my first experience with Mania was. It was first experience, so gone back through. It was like discovering Sonic for the first time. Sonic Mania may be a bit lackluster compared to some of the other big-budget games that were released in 2017, but it nonetheless holds a special place in my heart for giving me a giddy, childlike happiness that I used to feel playing Sonic when I was a kid. See, you can buy nostalgia, see?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sega, for giving me a chance to be the fastest thing alive once again. Thank you, Sega. Feels good.
Those last two had good final sentences. I like this.
What could be more appropriate for the end of the summer than that?
Yeah, you know, it's like... It's good to put your comments in a bubble.
And that's August.
That's August.
Here we are. This is it, the final month.
Let's do a little more for the person who graduated college.
Oh, sure.
Because that was a long vlog. Yeah. I need to do some research.
Okay.
Oh, we can explain what we're up to.
So yeah, we are sunsetting Community Comments. Community Comments is a show that we have had on Game Trailers. I did it. I finally did it. I thought I'd stop doing that anymore, but I did it. Because I was thinking back a couple years, and my brain dipped into old GT time. That we've had since we started Easy Allies. We started the show. We did not do community comments on Game Trailers. We were not as community focused nearly as much as we are now at Easy Allies when we were at Game Trailers, and I love that. I love that this is something now that is a part of our community. We are sunsetting community comments. We are turning community comments into the community showcase, which means we will not only read your comments, we will show off anything you make specifically for the showcase or that you specifically want to show for the showcase. And there will be a little bit of discretion as far as what we figure is, oh, okay, that's appropriate. That seems like something that you made for the showcase. It is a $10 and above tier on patreon.com/easyallies. If you're watching this on Twitch, you can go over and check that out. If you're watching the archive of this, previous community comments episodes were VO that I would read, and I would put that over a video similar to our reviews or other features, and put gameplay and stuff like that. Moving forward, the showcase will be like this. It'll be me and one other ally, possibly Kyle for the first showcase episode, or maybe another ally, going through all these, talking about them, reflecting on some of our favorites. Like Kyle said, like, that was good wording, you know, to wrap things up, making little comments like that. And hopefully expanding the whole concept of this community-focused series that we will do once a month. And we will actually do once a month, because that was one of the issues about community comments. I would not. That was all on me, by the way. 100%. Ben worked really hard on that, and I appreciate his work.
If anything, Jones, I would say it was all on you for thinking you could pull it off.
Yeah. That was...
Because, yeah, it was a lot of work.
The most naive I was since ECA began.
Yeah.
Did you catch my GT snafu in the bathroom?
No, I missed it.
I said Game Trailers is pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Which I have not done in a very long time. The following comments were pulled from the Easy Allies Patreon page among our $10 and above patrons. They represent what our community was interested in and playing in September.
Nice.
Here we go. We're almost caught up, folks. And this is meaty. So this would be about the size from starting now until the end of what the showcase would be.
Cool.
Carlito. Michael Favacci needs to fulfill his end of a bet.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh!
So not only is Carlito not a regular commenter,
you've been called out.
Spent $10
yes.
to call out Michael Favacci, former podcast producer. Mm-hmm. He must write a review of The Last of Us Definitive Edition after completing the game from start to credits, DLC not included.
Favacci, you must do this.
Wow.
I wonder what the bet was.
Yeah, Kyle, so as somebody who works on bets a lot for Easy Allies, how much do you follow and how much do you enjoy our audience bets? Community bets.
We don't. I think a lot of them happen privately.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes like I'll see things in chat that kind of indicate that somebody won or lost a bet. But yeah, they're private. I'm not let in on most of those.
I kind of like bets for us.
Yeah.
Like I like seeing that beforehand. I love when people are sneaky before we start streaming. When like I'll like throw up chat. And it's like 10 minutes before we stream, and they're just like, "Let's talk about them." It's like it's on television. Like we're all like looking at chat because we're about to stream. And so yeah, I'll see that every now and then. Where it's just like, all right, what's Jones gonna be wearing? Like what's the thing? Like bets on what Jones is gonna stream.
Favachi.
But yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Gotta write that review.
Carlito's coming for you, Favachi. Look out.
That's a lot of work, too. I should say, like, bet advice, don't make someone do that much work. You're like, causing that person pain. Like, to write a review...
To write a review? Blood's got to play all of Dark Souls 3 in a costume, man. Like, come on. Persona... Ben's got to build a Titanfall mech out of cardboard.
Yeah.
I will never, literally, Kyle, this is me on my deathbed right now. This is me, I'm fading. It's like going out, and I'm like, make sure Ben builds that mech. Because then he'll have to. Then like that, he won't be in that room, but it'll get around to him. So I'm like, hi, yeah, this is Ben's mom, or this is Brandon's mom. Is this Ben? Just want you to know, his last words. Bets are so good. Thank you for bets, Kyle. If I don't say that enough, bets were all Kyle. I know Huber's gotten involved in bets since GT and obviously now at Easy Allies, but bets were all Kyle. Alexander Ziranov, Persona 5. It's been so many months, we're still.
Yeah.
This game is so deep that even if I spend all of this comment to talk about one character or single storyline, I still would not be able to even tell half of it. So I will talk about 2 random things that stand out for me. I love that. Those are great comments. If you got like, I only have 200 words. A little slice of life, a little like, oh, this happened to me, a little tale. I think it'll be a good exercise though, because we try to, stay under a word count when we write stuff. So it'll be good practice for our audience to have a word count. 200, I think 200, 300.
What do you think this is? Is this
200? It's like 2 paragraphs. This is like two. This is like 300, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
The first is tutorials. In some games, you're annoyed by tutorials. I was a little annoyed by this tutorial because they spend a lot of your time to explain the most obvious things. In some games, you're given what you need to know in a good pace, but it's still pretty obvious that you're guided by game designers. In Persona 5, almost every tutorial is told by characters, and all starting zone restrictions are part of the story. As a result, you never feel that the game is wasting your time, even when it reminds you for the 5th time about stuff you decided to fully ignore. Context. Another amazing thing about Persona 5 is how relevant it is outside of Japan. No spoilers here, but late in the story the game talks about society. I live in a country with a very different culture, yet all of Persona 5's ideas and observations can be applied to my world without any changes. Seeing a mirror when looking at the screen was one of the deepest emotions I've got from Persona 5.
See, actually, I really like the core of that idea in that if you are particular, if you're actually laser focused on a particular thing, I think you can tell a truer story that actually resonates to a wider audience. I think if you try to tell a broad story, you actually fewer people actually relate to it.
It's predictable. Yeah. Alexander Ziranov, who has to go into basements to buy games, is connecting with Persona 5.
Cool.
Miguel Rivas. I am slowly progressing through Mass Effect Andromeda, which is a game that has been heavily criticized. I too have criticisms for that game. Be that as it may, Mass Effect Andromeda is an excellent game. Do not get hung up on the game's flaws, and just enjoy your time with it. I have also been going back to Halo Wars 2, again being mentioned, in which new DLC means new achievements to go for. Halo Wars 2, getting 2 nods and wrapping up community comments. Will Schmuck. After Mark Laidlaw put out his vision for how Half-Life 2 Episode 3 would have wrapped things up, I decided to replay through all of Half-Life 2 and its 2 existing episodes, as I haven't done so since they were originally released. Wow. And I'm glad to say that it still absolutely holds up. Feels good. The level design is still on par with any game I've played since then, including the vehicle missions and supply caches hidden in such creative ways. No other game, that I've played at least, did such a great job of making the physics of the world a tool that has to be mastered, instead of a gimmick that can be ignored to proceed forward. And even though technology has come a long way in terms of facial animation and expression, it's still easy to get lost in the faces of characters like Eli Vance and the G-Man. I'm almost done with Half-Life 2 and look forward to getting into episodes 1 and 2 again, but at the same time, I'm not looking forward to the renewed anger and frustration when those episode 2 credits begin, knowing that there won't be any more. Half-Life 3 has reached beyond meme status at this point, but replaying these games brings me back to why it has reached that point, because they were damn good games, and we never got the proper ending to it all. Whatever the reasons why Episode 3 never came out, all we can do is speculate and hope that either Episode 3 is announced at some point, or that they say officially that they are not planning on finishing the story. Otherwise, all of us Half-Life fans will remain in stasis, just like Gordon Freeman was in between Half-Life 1 and 2. Yeah, well, preach.
Jones, I'm going to make sure we're still online.
Okay.
Because, we haven't, the comments have really slowed down.
All right.
Chat, can you throw comments at us if we're still live? Isn't that weird, dude?
Yeah, maybe not. Look at the drop. Oh yeah, there was one.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're still live.
Okay.
We're still live, baby.
Oh yeah, comments are going now. Something's wrong with chat.
For some reason, like, everyone was just quietly, like, listening to that.
Thank you, Spunk Master Flash, with the fart comment. I appreciate that.
There were no new comments for, like, the last 2 letters that you just read. Okay.
Everyone was sad about Half-Life 3.
Yeah, I guess
we just had an introspective chat moment, is what that was, Kyle.
It's just like everybody's like chat, and they're like Half-Life 3, and everyone's just like.
Yeah. And here we are. We have to move on to the next comment. You know?
Okay.
Nick Owens picked up Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on a whim after watching the review, and it was one of the best decisions I've made in a while. Man, when am I going to play this? I have to. You can just plug headphones into the PS4 controller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just when do I never do that? You know?
Oh, got you. Sure.
But for that game.
Yeah.
Because I have like the headset with the plugs in, but like I want like big cozy, noise reduction headphones. The story and experience it provided were amazing, and when a team of 13 people can make a game like that, it is an amazing time. Yeah, remember when that game first got announced, and I remember seeing a video, and they were just like in an apartment.
Yeah.
They're like, well, here we are. We totally have freedom now. We can do whatever we want. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, this is either going to be really great or weird.
Yeah, and they were like, they wouldn't show you the setup for the facial capture. They're like, we can't show you this. That's what I remember first of that announcement.
But just really celebrating their size.
Yeah.
Being like, there's just a handful of us. I can look at everyone in my company right now, and they loved it. I am still so far behind on this year's awesome games that it almost hurts. I still haven't finished Horizon, got Persona 5, Nier, and Yakuza 0 to give a try as well. What I have been playing this month is Destiny 2.
I'm sorry, this is a new comment.
Sebastian Hall. Paul.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sebastian Hall has been playing Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. I didn't get much fun from the first game, mainly due to a lack of friends playing. This time around... You can chew it. You can chew that as much as you want. Just not right by the mic stand. Just not right by the mic stand. That's it.
Sophie on the mic.
I didn't get much fun from the first game, mainly due to a lack of friends playing. This time around, though, we all started at the same time, and I'm having a real blast wrecking havoc with my Titan. Bring on the loot, baby! I wonder if that's like a real thing. Is that because when I found out it was like, oh, so soon we're getting a sequel to Destiny 2. What if they really said, like, let's just reset this so that all the people that kind of like got into Destiny late but their friends weren't playing, like, they can all... I wonder if that's a really common story with Destiny 2, where it's like, I played Destiny, my friends didn't. They played Destiny later, but I was out because I was busy doing something or had just kind of gotten tired of it. And then by the time Destiny 1 finally ended, I now had a lot of friends that were into it, but that weren't into it when Destiny 1 launched. So now that they know what it's like, that the sequel's probably going to be better on every front... or a lot of much-needed changes are coming,
Jones, the plan was for Destiny 2 to come out last year. Like, the original Activision plan.
Yeah.
And then they
when they first laid everything out? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
and they actually switched directors. Like Luke Smith, the director,
I remember
of
that,
Destiny 2,
yeah.
like was brought on to like clean it up.
Brandon K. Gann, who gives this, he knows this is the last comment, so
Yeah.
he gives Sackle a run for his money.
Sendoff.
For many, September 2017 will be remembered mostly for one thing and one thing only: Destiny 2. And more specifically, trying to get light levels high enough to complete the game's near insurmountable raid. Near insurmountable. I can't take credit because I didn't play it, and you didn't either, but we did. You were in that, right?
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
I got the brunt of it. That was the whole weekly hunts.
Yeah.
Because
oh no, they did it for you. That's right.
Ben
Oh
did
yeah.
the raid.
Yeah. You weren't even in town. However, while I'll wait to jump in till my friends also get the game, I'll remember this month for a looked over but excellent title, and more importantly, a book giving me more respect and knowledge about those who make my favorite hobby. Nice, yeah. Dishonored: Death of the Outsider is perhaps going to be the biggest unsung game in 2017, as buzz for the game was non-existent leading up to release, and since it came out 1 week after Destiny 2, not many are giving it a shot. Yes, it is shorter than Dishonored 2, but it was a great experience with an interesting concept. Its quality is high, and in a year many call the greatest year in gaming, I'm slightly bummed out that it did not get at least a little bit more attention. However, what stands out for this September is Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, which I have right over there. Written by Kotaku's Jason Schreier, the book is an in-depth, behind-the-scenes account on how 10 of some of the most unpopular games were made. Whether it's a story of what crunching did for Uncharted 4, how one person spent 5 years by himself creating Stardew Valley, or how one man caused the problems with Destiny, Mr. Schreier, with the help of his interviews and sources, encapsulates the realities of game development. Yet the one chapter that beats them all is the story on how, when, and why Star Wars 1313 is not real. Nothing has made me more infuriated about game development than one man's decision to turn his back on a guaranteed hit.
One man's... You just sold me that book.
That's a sell right there.
Yes.
Even just that chapter. I mean, who doesn't want to hear the story of Destiny? You know, who doesn't want to like really get into?
Yeah.
And I think the thing that's nice, another way to sell the game is it does not play around. I mean, it is not careful. It's not like, well, we don't want to offend the company. Like it lays it all out. Mick Polo Frito, thank you for subbing.
I'm gonna say that's Pollo. McPollo Frito.
Mr. Jones flubbed on it. I said popular? What? Uh-oh.
You said unpopular games, and it was actually popular.
Oh.
10 popular games.
I gotta go back.
Jones is gonna flub.
No, I gotta go back. Where is that?
Allow John some flubs. It's about the book. 10 popular games?
Oh. Yeah, behind the scenes account on how 10 of the most popular games were made.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandon. Oh, and I just learned Brandon's tag. Nice.
Yeah.
Which I think you told me before, but I forgot.
Do it all over.
Brandon Patton, I really want to love Destiny 2. Here we go. By all accounts, it is a vast improvement over the original game. However, with Bungie, it always seems to be one step forward, two steps back. As the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He said if it's not broke, don't fix it, but I like that version.
Nice.
Yet Bungie has unquestionably ruined the fun of shaders in Destiny 2. Their choices to remove heroic strikes and the placing of sniper shotguns as the equal to a rocket launcher are just as baffling. Is it really so much to ask that Bungie fixed the issues people had problems with and leave the content everyone loved alone? We all want Destiny to succeed, but sometimes I'm not sure Bungie does.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure they do, and I'm pretty sure it's got to be really hard as a company like that being like, let's just improve, but not really tweak anything. Like that, I mean, how do you not think of all those things you could possibly tweak? But yeah, they definitely do have a perspective on that game that nobody else has, so a lot of those ideas can seem just completely out of control. Zyla Wolfbane, wrapping up the Destiny chat. My irises are the only part of my eyes that aren't red this week. So much Destiny 2. It's that good.
Whoa. What a visual, Zyla Wolfbane.
Michael Favacci. Fitting that penultimate game in the saga of Kazuma Kiryu is the enhanced version of the story that started it all. Yakuza Kiwami. Here we go. Told you.
Wait,
every time.
Hold on. What? Why is this the penultimate?
Fitting that the penultimate game in the saga of Kazuma Kiryu is the enhanced version of the story that started it all. Nah. Kazuma Kiwami has without much effort.
I guess you're assuming it ends with 6, which is correct, but then we got Kiwami 2 right after 6.
Yeah. Yakuza Kiwami has, without much effort, pulled me back into the dark allies and neon lit streets of Kamurocho. Alleys. Into the dark alleys and neon lit streets of Kamurocho. Spelled it allies. Even though I've played the original on PS2, this game is a joy to play, and it makes me all the more anxious to see how the amazing tale of the Dragon of Dojima will end in Yakuza 6. Oh, and Majima Everywhere is amazing. Nani?
Sorry, Favacci. You gotta play The Last of Us. Stop playing Yakuza now.
What are you doing?
You gotta write that review, Favacci.
I like Dark Allies, too. Randy Verschuren. In the spirit of how long these videos take to get uploaded. No worry, Jones, it's all good. That was it. That was the only negative sentiment in all of these comments.
Yeah. The only person who ever got
for how unbelievably tardy I typically was in putting these up. That's how bad it gets. That's how amazing our community is. No, I'm just kidding, Jones. Wow. Wow. How about that Super Mario Odyssey? I had a good time when Breath of the Wild released, but man, this game. It feels yet again as if I'm that 12-year-old staring up at Mario 64, jumping, running, spitting, hatting. Goaty? Nope. Game of the decade.
We're near the end of the decade.
Yeah.
We're near the end.
Game of the decade, kids.
What's your game of the decade?
I don't know, man. I have to look at a list. I don't remember. Was Red Dead this decade? Probably, yeah. Red Dead pretty good. Carl Williams. I only have one big game left this now. It's just game of the decade. That's all the chat's going to be. I only have one big game left this year that I have my sights set on. Super Mario Odyssey for the Switch. After passing on the Wii U and missing out on New Super Mario Bros. Wii U and Super Mario 3D World, I'm ready to dive in head first for the next Mario adventure. Oh, yeah, it's going to pay off. Out of all of the footage I've seen so far, I can honestly say the thing I'll be enjoying the most while playing this game is using Mario's hat to take control of classic Mario enemies. The Hammer Brothers will finally endure the pain I have been suffering from them for nearly 30 years. While I have no regrets on not buying a Wii U and missing out on some incredible Nintendo titles, I'm committed to getting a Switch when Odyssey comes out this October. With me already owning a Switch, a PS4, and getting a Switch, I'm finally looking forward to being a 2-console owner once again this generation. Icon Master.
By the way, I appreciate hating the Hammer Brothers for 30 years.
Oh,
They're the worst.
screw those guys.
They're the worst, yeah.
And have always been equally frustrating.
Yeah.
They never changed their tactics. It's always just been that
plop, plop.
Icon Master. It's the month of Metroid. Why are we talking about anything else? The month of Metroid.
Is it?
Yeah. Just one game.
Sure.
Is there something else Metroid?
End of comment.
End of comment, yeah.
Why are we talking about anything else?
Well, we're going to talk about something else.
Sure.
Dominic Barlow with the big one. It's the year 2000. I'm a child on the living room floor, having one moment of transcendence after another, thanks to a demo disc bundled with the family's brand new Sony PlayStation. Platformers like Crash and Spyro are obviously captivating, but tucked away in the list of trailers is a clip with the name Metal Gear Solid. I hit play, and a video rolls of a cool guy with a beard and a bodysuit sneaking around a secret base covered in snow. He didn't have a beard.
Did not have a beard, Dominic.
He kicks off a guard off. I'm thinking, like, did they have a beard? They got rid of it? I don't think so. He kicks a guard off a balcony. He unloads a whole gun clips with a red-haired girl by his side. And finally, as the rocking synth music builds to a crescendo, he blows up the entire base with C4 bombs. I think to myself, cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing I love about that trailer, too, is when he's running and firing, he's clearly not firing at anybody. Like, there's no situation in the entirety of Metal Gear Solid where you need to run down a hallway, you know, like just unloading at people.
No, you absolutely. The stairwell. You remember the stairs?
Oh, sure, when you're running up.
Yeah.
But it was, like, like with hindsight, looking back now, it's literally that first invite. It's right when you get out of the water, that first hallway, and he's just like, like an assault rifle. And the C4 is hilarious. There's no, like, at no point in the game did you have, like, 40 pieces of C4 that you could just, like,
you got that bandana, dude.
What did the bandana do?
Infinite ammo.
Oh!
In 2, he goes, infinite ammo. But it's cool.
Flash forward to 2017. Spurred on by the game's induction into the Hall of Greats, I finally give this supposed masterpiece a shot.
Wait. So we end with Cool Man. You never played it.
Never played it.
Oh!
Never played it.
And so then we flash forward all the way to 2017. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I've now finished it, and I've got to say, I'm glad I waited this long. Yes, you can kick guys off of balconies, and yes, you do shoot a bunch of guns, but no, this is not the 80s action film come to life that the child version of me would have demanded.
Ah, okay.
It pretends to be, with its numerous villains and dopey dialogue, but that's all smoke and mirrors covering a deeply compelling center. It's a game that delights in a Machiavellian conspiracy and aches for an understanding of life itself, specifically in the shadow of nuclear warfare. Stories like this explain why I will personally never insist on the separation of games and politics. The way they collude here, by giving me a gratifying level of control and then slowly taking it away to make me feel helpless as the narrative barrels onward, giving me a stronger connection to Solid Snake than numerous other game protagonists. I can't wait to play the rest of Hideo Kojima's output and see if the man lives up to the legend. Boy, can you imagine not any of that, and now he's going to play 2, and then 3,
yeah,
and then 4, just one after the other, skipping all of that, frustration and advertising and all that stuff. Just jump in, man.
2 is gonna be crazy.
2 is gonna be nutballs.
The things that you really like about Metal Gear Solid.
In HD, what a payoff!
I think you're gonna like those a lot. I worry you won't be into 5, but yeah, Dominic, yeah.
Yeah, 5 will be weird, but I think 5 will feel more like modern games,
Sure.
So, but 3, and I haven't finished 3. You're in for a treat. Stories like this explain why I will personally never insist on the. Oh, sorry, you did. Tim Beshan. There's finally a new Metroid on the horizon, and I couldn't be more hyped. Just finished Mario plus Rabbids and really loving it. I was way more intrigued with the battle system than initially anticipated. What really surprised me was the mighty Gunvolt burst. It really helped my Mega Man itch. I get the impression there's another burp. I get the impression two little people gave that game a chance. Try it. Trust me.
Ben was playing this recently, and it's the same. Oh, Burst actually is a different one. That's the one that's like Mega Man.
Yeah.
He was playing the other Gunvolt, like the one that has 1 and 2 together on his Switch. It looks so good on a Switch.
Joseph Caruso. Memes.
Ooh, what a topic sentence.
Sometimes, video game drama can take place over such a long stretch of time that people forget the original context, and the issue becomes nothing more than a meme to drop in reference to current issues. This is the case with Half-Life 2, Episode 3. often described as simply Half-Life 3. Even with the subject being discussed across the internet due to recent events, I still feel like the average video game fan doesn't understand the history and context of why the situation is so very frustrating. After Half-Life 2 launched, Gabe Newell of Valve said that it bothered him how fans had to wait 6 years between the release of Half-Life 1 in 1998 to Half-Life 2 in 2004, and so he announced that Half-Life 3 would be released as 3 episodes, spaced out over the next few years. Sure enough, we got to play episodes 1 and 2 over the next 3 years, and episode 2 in particular had major story revelations in the otherwise very mysterious Half-Life universe. However, it ended on an emotional cliffhanger. With that in mind, if you're hearing this in October 2017, it has been 10 years since the release of episode 2. Not only have we waited well over the previously mentioned 6-year gap we had to wait between Half-Life 1 and 2, but no one from Valve will even talk about the status of the franchise, let alone the promised 3rd episode. This is why Half-Life 3 is the meme that it is, and no other pending release can match its magnitude.
Memes.
Memes. Did we lose chat again? Are people just shocked?
Chat is being bad still.
Sneaky sniper.
There's just like if you're trying to like enter like comments, Twitch is losing them.
No.
Basically,
sorry,
like
we're losing Patreon comments. We're losing Twitch comments. It's oh boy, it's a struggle. Garrett Wholefish. This comment is less about what I'm playing and more about what. Oh wait, no. Oh, I read that. Oh, weird. I copied that into someplace else. It's the Overwatch comment again.
Maybe Garrett just did the comment twice in a row.
Yeah, maybe
2 months in a row.
Maybe. Yeah, just playing Overwatch with friends. Good times.
60-year-old people on that team.
60-year-old Overwatch players.
They let her in.
You remember. Corn Fan, 2007. September has begun with Yakuza Kiwami. See, it's not long before we come back.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I would get into it with putting 205 hours into Yakuza 0 just a few months ago, but it was great to jump back into that world. If anyone is on the fence about Yakuza, you should give it a go. So enjoyable. 0 has a lot more content and a better story, so it's the best place to start. Also, I missed the subscriber song. It removed a little bit of entertainment from each stream. The lack of community polling for it to see if it should be removed is my main upset over it.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's no vote.
Yeah, you know what? I
just decreed.
I think we just got sick of doing it.
Yeah, I had a thought though.
Okay.
And somebody brought it up, and I remember being like, "Yeah, it's weird," but like now that I think back, I think it might be cool. What if we do it at the beginning and the end? What if we kick off the stream to everybody subbing? Because a lot of people sub right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'm gonna pitch that.
Pitch it
to the crew. See how it goes. Again, I'm pitching it.
I'm gonna say no.
I could be voted. Kyle's gonna say no. I'm already.
You already have one no
I'm already
vote.
tied. It's 1-1. You heard it here first, man. Don't take it out on me. Take it out on Kyle. Pokey Clyde. October 2017 will go down as the best October of all time. Oh, we're in it right now. This is the best October of all time.
Yeah.
It says Pokey Clyde.
Pokey, I hear you because of Odyssey.
Name a better October, bro.
Pokey, you need to give us Digimon updates.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, Stranger Things Season 2, and Super Mario Odyssey. As for September, meh.
No, September was great.
September, yeah. I was going to say it is great, but we're in October.
Yeah.
Antonio Coyne. This year just keeps delivering with quality titles, and it's going down as one of the greats in video game history in my books. What if for Hall of the Greats, one of us brings 2017?
I will say no. There's a no vote.
It's one of the greats. September has me going hard on Yakuza Kiwami and cooling off with Mario and Rabbids, and I can't wait to dig into some MVCI to scratch that competitive itch. Let's not forget that all of this is just the precursor to what is looking like the most stacked October ever. Good luck to all the allies out there with time management. You're gonna need it. In the King Nicholas. In the recent episode of Huber Syndrome, Franchises We Miss, I still believe that the Suikoden series will be reborn. The story will never complete until lores and runes have been recovered. Lores or lores and runes have been discovered. Ever since, after playing Suikoden 6, I have no interest in playing any other RPG. I tried, but I miss what Suikoden offers. I know that not everyone has knowledge about this franchise, but allow me to tell you my perspective.
Great.
Diddly-doot, diddly-doot. Oh, don't worry, we're getting to Jason Sackle. I know what you're thinking. You're like, there's only 2 pages left. Its turn-based battle system is simple, but needs to be thoroughly understood, as you cannot simply put in your lineup an all short-range melee characters, as not all may attack, or magic-wielding characters, as you may get a disadvantage when your magic slot has been used. Dueling is a cowboy-style melee battle encounter which is initiated by the opponent. War Game is a chess-style turn-based strategy game. If a unit army is defeated, there's a chance that one or all of the characters in that unit dies permanently. Equipments, weapons, are essential when surviving boss and duel battles. Each character may bring up to 3 consumables or items. Weapons may forge enhance using blacksmiths, and when one weapon reaches the high enough level, the weapon's name is changed. Base building. Your base castle will only flourish if you recruit characters and get supplies, which will affect your number of units in the field war battle. It also unlocks new sections of the base, which unlocks minigames. Minigames. There's been as many games throughout the series. Cooking and dice games are my favorites. Collecting enough recipes will help you cook items, such as level 3 magic scrolls, cures, and effects. The prizes in the dice game will help you build your castle or characters. Lastly, I love the story. I just love its story. I think you love that story.
I would have start with the story. We're talking about an RPG. I don't care about the dice minigame. I want to hear about that story.
But not a lot of stuff have that.
All right. Okay. I think I agree. I think Suikoden is not dead.
Oh,
I
okay.
know, like, it makes sense to believe it's dead. I think it's not dead.
Okay. There we go. I think it's safe to believe in this era. This feels like the era of dreams.
Yeah.
Jason A. Sacco! Final Fantasy IX has graced the PS4, and I happily decided to revisit this gem of a game.
Oh boy.
You like Final Fantasy IX, Kyle?
Yes.
I don't really care for the franchise that much, but 9 has a certain charm to it. The characters are endearing, the environments breathe life, and wondrous music brings it all together. The game may look a bit on the cartoonish side, but don't let that fool you. The story has such an emotional depth, and the contradiction in tones plays beautifully to the game overall. It isn't trying to look cool, as much as it lets everything that makes the game what it is speak for itself. I remember when I first played the game years and years ago. It was the early cinematic of when Garnet jumps from the castle and swings to the theater ship with Zidane and Steiner chasing after her that captured me. All the characters felt unique, and the emotions they expressed and body language they used, that I couldn't help but get sucked in. I love how the game switches between characters as well, making each one feel fleshed out and giving them their own individual arc. I even found myself getting lost for hours in the Tetra Master minigame. Like, I love that when there's like a Vivi story section, it's not just like, oh yeah, I'll stop and talk to Vivi. Like, you control Vivi, and like, he leaves the party and goes shopping and goes beaning with all sorts of other people, and like, yeah, really, really focus on him. Last page.
We're still on Sackle.
We're still on Sackle.
Yeah.
I've taken my sweet time with this playthrough and been savoring every minute. The moment when You're Not Alone plays in the background is probably one of the single best sequences of any video game. I could just go on and on. I should keep like a long-standing list of community comment / showcase hyperbole. Anytime it's like, that's the best story ever. I'm like,
or my jaw.
Okay, Jason Sackle. Yeah. I could go on and on, but luckily there's a word limit to prevent me from doing just that. If you haven't played Final Fantasy IX, I implore you to do so. In the end, Final Fantasy IX is a delight, and I've fallen in love with it all over again. It truly is one of the greats. Is it? Did it get in?
Didn't get in.
Ooh.
His word's not ours. So it's
yeah.
I tried my best, Jones.
No correction there.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy IX thoughts, Kyle, before we
get
closer to wrapping this up?
Honestly, I didn't expect Sackle to be so positive on it. It's everything he just said.
Yep.
All those things are so true. It's really, really just a great game. Still.
Caesar Villa. I will miss the community comments videos. I liked that opportunity to share my gaming stories and make my very personal level and backtrack episodes from time to time. What? And make my personal... Oh, he basically like wrote... I like that level. I like that backtrack. So he's making his own personal ones.
Yeah.
You can totally do that now.
Interesting.
Caesar, you can still do that. Although, you know, they won't be produced the same way as levels backtracks. I'm not a creative person. I couldn't draw to save my life. Hell, sometimes I even struggle to get the comments done. But I'll see how the stream evolves and try to take advantage of it at the best of my abilities. Hopefully you can. Hopefully you're still interested. Having said that, games. Samus Returns. Go play it. It's great. Get the special edition if you can. That CD with the music from the series is worth it.
Okay, so we were nervous, Caesar, with your Mexican credit card that you wouldn't be able to get it. It sounds like we've pulled through there.
Yeah.
That comment would totally work on Community Showcase, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to be clear, you don't have to send us like some beautiful work of art.
Because the thing is, previously on community comments, I wouldn't say your name out loud. It would just be the title, and I would just say the comment. You wouldn't actually see most of the comment on the screen. You still don't see any of the comment now that it's streamed. Yeah, we have B-roll over it, but there's no discussion afterward. You know, so that's what I think I'm most looking forward to in Community Showcase.
Yeah.
3 comments left.
Okay.
And all of community comments. They're all troll comments. Are you ready?
They're all trolls?
Oh, the last 3. They're all trolls.
They're not trolls.
They're not trolls?
No.
Okay. They're special.
I think that these 3 have a certain self-awareness that they knew it was going to be streamed, as opposed to like in the community comments video.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show you this one.
Okay.
And I want to ask you how you want me to read it.
Can you do the voice?
I don't think I can. I can try.
Okay, so take the level you're gonna try and do it understated. We're in a theater. We're in a theater right now.
Well, I got to get closer to the mic though, because he's kind of quiet. Oh, we're doing the scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not. Am I sitting? Yeah. The chairs are right. Isn't he on the left? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Storm Crown, for this wonderful comment. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. It's a Sith legend. Darth Plagueis was a Dark Lord of the Sith. So powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side that he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. The dark side of the Force. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. He became so powerful, the only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew. Then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself. I like you as Anakin more than more than me as the Emperor.
Oh, that was so fun.
And that's another thing too, is with Community Showcase, that works really great for Community Showcase.
Sure.
Because, like,
No,
although that would have been hilarious in comments, like, right at the end, me, like, like, me doing my normal Jones read like, have you ever heard about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? That's all. It's funnier. I should have done that. I thought not. I got to do it. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. It's a Sith legend. Darth Plagueis was a Dark Lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side that he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. The dark side of the Fourth. I did it again. The dark side of the Fourth. Well, it's may the Fourth be with you. That it's like it's in my brain.
May the Fourth be with you is over. May the Force be with you.
No, it's just in there, so it's like All
right.
So sometimes I said Force, and I got it before earlier in the paragraph.
Okay.
It's just the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. So he became so powerful, the only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew. Then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
Jones, I'm not okay with people doing that for Community Showcase.
No?
No, because create your own thing. Create your own weird, like, monologue.
But you created that moment. You created the moment of Ben or Huber or Blood saying, we should also tell people in the showcase who's going to be on the episode so they know, like,
Sure.
Oh, okay. Blood's going to be there? All right.
All right. So Stormcrown, that was genius. I don't know. Really, though? Really, then it'll become like a jokey stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, like, don't overdo anything. Like, I'm not. I never want to. I just want people to have the freedom to do what they want to do. You know, like,
all right.
Whenever I've been like, oh no, that's going to be a trend. It never is. People always want to get their own stuff out. David Lee, hit me, baby, one more time.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
hit me, baby. Was that a group stream?
That was a group stream. Yeah. That was like Huber singing it once, but it just morphed into "Hit me, baby, one more time."
And didn't we sing like multiple song lyrics?
Yeah,
like living on a prayer. Like,
yeah.
Okay, there it is. There, thanks, David Lee and Greg Kettering. Dark Knight 774. Sunsetting community comments. I like clashes.
I like clashes.
Clashes are fun.
Yeah.
Clashes can be fun in video games, specifically if you have never played the game Swords, which we invite you to check out. There are clashes in Swords, and Swords are fun. This could not have been easy. Sitting on the couch,
This was fun.
listening to me go on and
truly
on and on.
fun. Yeah.
So if you are interested in participating in the community showcase, this is kind of how it's going to go. It's going to be a quarter of the length of this. Basically, one of those months will basically be what the community showcase will be like. But potentially, we could also be showing video. We could also be showing cool pictures and art that people have made and talking about that. It'd be kind of fun to go into like this thing museum style and just kind of like, oh, look at that little piece of art and putting it up on the screen and talking
with
about
the
it.
mouse, we could easily do that.
And it's really going to be fun bringing other allies into this and having their perspective, having comments come up, be really interesting to see somebody bring a comment to a person, them reply to it, and then they're not going to show up for another 8 months so you got to wait 8 months to like, oh yeah, and then you reply if you specifically want those comments to go to people. But there's so many great things about just getting the community involved in this way, because this industry is so surprising. It's every week we have something to talk about on the podcast and something to go over and something to speculate and something to be excited about. And so, just with the 9 of us, we have so many different experiences and so many different opinions on things. I was talking to Ian the other night about still upset The Last Guardian won Game of the Year. He's so salty about it.
He'll never forgive us.
And so there's we try to have multiple perspectives, and we try to have many opinions, and we try to tell as many stories as possible here at Easy Allies. And I think this is the best way to do it. I just love. Whenever I would say, community comments is late, people are like, John, just don't even do that tier. It's like, no, I love this. I really look forward to it.
Fun, actually, yeah.
And so thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
For hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a hand.
Yay!
Yeah. I thought it was one of these.
Kyle! Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for tuning in all this time and for chatting and for updating us on things, answers to stuff that we were not sure of. And most especially, thank you for not only people that made a comment, but people that made a comment and were civil and didn't attack me on the internet and were really, really upset, that were very respectful with just all the crazy stuff that we were doing, that have been respectful during this transition process going into the Easy Allies community showcase, and just sat their whole summer knowing that they had put their comments into this little depository for us to come back to now. And get to and create a discourse around. So yeah, coming up next week will be the official post for the Easy Allies Community Showcase for you to put a comment, or if you have a video, put it up on YouTube or Vimeo or something, send us the link. If you have a picture, put it up on Twitter or Instagram or somewhere, send us the link to that. And only one comment per person. We'll have the guidelines. We have very specifically written out so you can see the rules around what you want to do. But start, maybe if you're at that tier or above, start thinking about maybe what you want to participate if you haven't yet, if you would like to join. Again, anything small or big, we love each and every comment. We love checking in with all of you because we love all of you. So thank you for everybody being a part of this, whether you left a comment or just watched today. And yeah, do you want to hit us out?
Oh, yeah. I'll get us out.
Get us with a clean exit.
What's coming up stream-wise?
Coming up stream, I don't know. What's going to the sketch?
Tonight's Thursday night.
Oh yeah, tonight I'm playing Batman. Tonight I'm gonna check and see if that Russian ambassador's been patched out for the second episode of the Telltale Batman game. But tonight from 10 to midnight, I'm gonna be playing episode 2 of Batman. The new season is called The Enemy Within, and I do not know what the episode 2 is called. But episode 1 was meaty and racy. And yeah, they're kicking off some craziness. So and Dark Souls 3 tomorrow. Bloodworth dropped that in there.
I got some Mega Man X Command mission tomorrow.
Mega Man X Command mission from Kyle Bossman coming tomorrow. And it's the month of October. We got a spooky stream we'll be putting up more details about coming up soon that we're going to be doing the Monday before Halloween. We'll be doing on the evening of the 30th. That morning will be Paris Games Week, right? That's like the Sony. Is that morning?
Wait, sorry, I think that's 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, yeah, but it's the day before Halloween.
Yes.
And Paris Games Week is that Monday too. So some big cool streams coming up from us at Easy Allies, and of course the first community showcase, the first week of November, chronicling all of the amazing stuff that's happened in October. October is my favorite month of the year, so it's gonna be really exciting to kick off the showcase with October. And thank you all for supporting us and being allies and being patrons and being Twitch subscribers and being wonderful and being great commenters. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.